Good evening and good morning to some of you folks around the globe. What's going on, guys? Let me just jump right on in there. What's happening out there? Make sure we got audio here. Do an audio check on this. Good evening and good morning to some of you folks around the globe. All right, we working. What's going on, everyone? Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, it looks like all the usual suspects are in there. Miami's in there. Let me see, what was the other one here? Hold on, way down here. Phil C's in there. Third Eye Open is there. Well, this thing's way down the bottom. Let me go ahead and get it right to the top. There we go. Mimi Reacts is in there. James Cragen, what's going on? Archetype Net is in there. James Dixon's in there. Richard Bunt is in there. Hi, man, what's up? What's going on, Richard? Renee Vaughn is in there. Mr. Noodles is in the house. What's going on? Oh, let's see. Orion Benjamin's in there. Elaine Millard is in there. Greetings from England, they say, she says. Hold on, let me get this straightened out. John Beck's in there. What's going on, John? Tisha Brown. What's going on? Alien Tenno's in the house. I'm doing good, Alien. I hope you're doing good as well. MG Toe's in the house. Maria's in the house. No Automere. What's happening? Adam's in there. Oh, man. Everybody's up in here today. Pete Ferrero's in there. You had a balmy 52 degrees over there in Buffalo, huh? Well, right now we're what? At 64. But, man, it's going to be chilly tonight. I don't know about you over there, Pete, but it's supposed to be down around the freezing mark. Right now my weather station is telling me it's going to be around, well, the dew point's at about 35. And they usually say, if it gets down, it's close, the temperature gets close down to the dew point. So it's saying 35 at the moment. But as it gets darker and the temperature drops, it seems to, go down a little bit more as well. So, yeah, I thought it would be a lot of fun. It'd be the first time we had a chill there this fall. Although they claim September was the longest, I wouldn't say longest, the hottest or warmest month. Not sure that applies to everybody on the planet, but that's what they say. What's going on there, Mr. Bush Corey? Good to see you in there. Mike Knapp is in there. Mauricio Rocha, what's going on? Tony Gibbs is in there. Let's see. Hope you're doing good there, Mauricio. From over there in Brazil. Oh, let's see. Inhabit Mars is in there. Hi, Chris and Jay. I am working, but I'm here. I believe that Jenny Vasquez is watching at home also. Great to see everyone here. Good to see you in there. Appreciate you guys watching. Josh D's in the house. 420 Aliens in there. Hope you're all well, he says. We're doing good. Thank you. Hope you're doing well as well. Mark Matheny's in there. Oh, yeah. Farmer's in there. Oh, this thing just jumped on me. Elaine Walls is in there. Hello, Elaine. Good to see you in there. Photography Light and Magic's in there. There's a roast of 40s in there. What's going on, man? Not a whole lot popping, just chilling, Elizabeth Happer's in there. Let's see. Jack Lambert's in there. Oh, yeah. Everybody's in here tonight. Dave Havery, I'm sorry. Man, 7 degrees Celsius here. Oof, that is kind of chilly. Stephen Porter's in there. What's going on? Good evening from Wales. It's bloody freezing here, and I'm watching. I hear that. Oh, man, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a crazy winter this winter or what? What's going on? I mean, they say it's, global warming and everything, and well, if it's going to be super cold out, I don't see how that's warming, but you know how that goes. And the fact that we're just starting the new solar cycle, it can't be too active. I'm surprised they're saying it's actually global warming, because it has something to do with it as well, right? We have our part to play in it, but the solar system is actually, because the sun's not very active and the solar activity is very low, I can't understand why it would be, really that hot. It's just like every 11 years where it peaks out, that's when it's warmest, and all the planets here in our solar system warm up. So right now it's just starting on its, I forget what cycle it is. Maybe you guys know off the top of your head, but yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Adam, he said, yep, Chris Honest, Summer. Well, just jumped on me. So other people are in there. It just disappeared on me. I hate it when it happens. I gotta try to find it. It decided to go up while you guys are still commenting. He said, yeah, there's no global warming, to certain people. Yeah, you got that right. I don't think I missed anybody yet. Limey Watcher's in there. What's going on there, Mr. Limey? Jack Lambert, I've said. Leslie Warren, what's going on? Your sound is low, you said. Huh. Let me see if we can't make that a little bit louder. What do you think? How about that? Is it a little bit better there for you guys? Let's go a little louder. All right, testing 1, 2. That should be a little bit better. What's going on there, Jason O? Photography Light and Magic, like I said, is in there. All right, is that better, guys? Because I think MG Toe said the same thing. I said, can't hear you, or it's low. So just let me know what you guys think. If it's getting better. Mr. Poor Garden, what's going on? Hello, Chris and Joss D. Let's see. All right, Architect. Now you said it's working better now. All right. Yeah, like I said, I had it turned down because of, I think it was when, I think it was when Jean was on. I had to match his sound, so I turned mine down a little bit, but because we don't want to be overpowering him, and he's lower and I'm louder. We went on the same level, pretty much the same, right? So I actually invited him again. I guess he's busy. I said, if you don't have nothing to do, just if you want to jump on, let me know. So I didn't hear anything from him, so I assume he's a busy man. Might be on vacation. It's hard to tell, right? So Botter M, what's going on? It says perfect. All right. Yeah, like I said, I did have it a little bit lower due to last week's Hangout. So how's everybody doing? What's going on new? Anything popping there? What's happening? We actually had a delay at work as far as our truck, the truckload we were supposed to have in. They moved it to today, which kind of messed me all up because I usually leave there early on a Friday, and then, of course, I get prepped for this. Of course, I'm checking out the photos in the process and everything else, and then I was like, oh, okay, so great. Which I'm going to give you guys a little heads up, and, of course, it's not a fear-mongering thing, so don't take it like that. If you guys do normal shopping, your regular food shopping, whatever it is that you get yourself a few extra things here and there as you're doing it. In other words, it's like me, I'll go out and buy certain meats. Like we have like your typical, steak, pork chops, chicken, and then your regular hamburger, whatever. We'll buy a little extra of those and then throw it in a deep freezer. The reason why I'm saying that is because our distribution warehouse, where what happened with them was they got like a skeleton crew now because of the COVID. Well, we never did really bounce back entirely from the first wave of this COVID mess, right? So now they're like giving us less stuff because of this. They're on a skeleton crew, and don't think other warehouses ain't going to be doing the same thing. So just to give you guys a little heads up, and I keep seeing every now and then, I keep seeing food shortage. Now, I don't worry about that. I don't panic about it. It's not a big deal. But if you go to the grocery store, get yourself a little something, extra there. That's something you like. Just get a little extra of each, just to have it in the house. It's what I've been recommending to everybody because, why be caught with hardly anything in the house and all of a sudden it goes bonkers again with this crazy second wave thing going on. So, just to give you guys a little heads up. I mean, again, I don't fearmonger here. It's not a big deal. But it wouldn't hurt just to buy a little extra if you can, There you go, 420. He said, I'm a prepper, so I am stocked for a while. Yeah, I do the same thing. I try to, it almost looks like my store. I got like shelves. It looks like when you go into the store, I got, a little in the pantry there. I got some in the freezer and stuff like that. And like I said, it's better to have a little extra food in case things go chaotic. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Now, it may not. And it may just, just basically a little bump in the road and it's completely fine. But I tell everybody, just buy a little extra this time. Just to have it in the house, Especially if you can afford it now, and if things get tight all of a sudden, you lose your job or whatever, at least you got some food to ride it out, whatever. That's the way I look at it, right? So. Leslie Warren, you said, got cold in bed, LOL, that time of year. Yes, I buy extra, but others are mad shopping. LOL, I don't. Yeah, I don't. You see these people actually going absolutely crazy. In fact, my job, people were like all over the meat today. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's not even a sale there. They were, they have stuff that's ready to expire, so they'll put that on sale, which is typical of any place. But, they were like, I'm like, what's going on here? So I don't know if it's some kind of, this is getting out where people are going, oh my God, we're going to panic. And it's like, and people literally go off the deep end. And it's like, you don't have to do that. Just play it smart. Get yourself a little extra food of everything you eat. Every little thing that you guys normally get. You could double it if you like, if you can afford to. And that's pretty much it, and be ahead of the game. That's the way I look at it, but I see people so much in a frantic, I just go, oh my God, what is going on here? Oh, Dennis jumped on me again here. John Paulette says, hello from the UK. What's going on, John? Architect, yeah, panic buy, yeah. I can never understand that, especially during these, I love it when these people do it to snowstorms. That's the funniest thing. It's like, big blizzard coming, and people go, oh, okay, let me get $600 worth of shopping. Okay, and your power goes out, then what? So unless you got a generator and you're set up good, I said, what's the point? You're like the power will go out and you lose everything. So, I remember years ago we had a bad snowstorm and power went out. I just took all my stuff out of the freezer, and we had a couple of them trays we can put like your soft drinks in and stuff like that. And I just put all my food in a couple of these large ones, stuck it out in the fire escape, and just put it in a plastic bag. So, it wouldn't get rained on or snowed on, everything else. It was like in the 20s, so I didn't have to worry about anything going bad. And when it stopped, just power came back on, just put it back in the house. But, yeah, I don't think I'd go out and panic about it, but it's good to be, just a little word to the wise, because I deal with the, basically grocery. That's where I work in a grocery store. So, I order everything in the store and then get it truck loaded in and then empty it out and all that other good stuff. So, like I said, if this is going back around and he's go to this, it's not just, normal people walking the streets getting this COVID. It's other people that are working and these warehouses, so on and so forth. Well, that ends up going down to consumer, where if the store's not getting it, you're not getting it. So, yeah, it's good to be a little prepared. That's all. No need to panic or worry. It's just a little heads up. That's all. Josh D, you said, Chris, I love the Weird Hill Butte in your last video. The sky was a bit eccentric. Yeah, it's like I happened to go on that thing, and I said, let me just go ahead and I'll do that periodically. I'll just, go to the extreme on the saturation on the colors. And I looked at that thing and said, what is going on in this photo? And, of course, then I conveyed it to you guys. But there's no reason why that sky should look like that. And you could just look at that anyway. There's no way a sky would look like that. None. It's kind of like what I'm showing here in this the satellite photo right here, where you get the satellite dish. You can see a normal sky, and you can see like a fake sky that's been painted there, and it's just bizarre. And that's why I looked at it. So I'm just curious, and I just went to the extreme on that, and I was like, okay, my suspicions were right. What's going on here, Mimi, you said, I don't need much food, but my rabbits do. Fresh greens and hay. They eat so much. Yeah, I had some rabbits back in the day. I had a New Zealand rabbit with real great big fluffy white ball. And then I had a smaller one, just a, it wasn't a dwarf rabbit, just a standard sized rabbit. Yeah, they do eat. And they probably poop as fast as they eat. So it's always a lot of fun, right? All right, let me see. All right. Renee Vaughn. Well, hold on. Okay. Renee Vaughn, you said Starman, the dummy in the red Tesla roadster, has skimmed past Mars last week. It has. I guess they just put on a trajectory and just said, let it go. And I think even Elon, he laughed about that. He said, someday, maybe if there's any aliens out there, it'll be like, what is this thing? And what the hell were these people thinking? You know, it's like, what? I thought it was a cool idea, but kind of a weird idea at the same time. Like, what's the point? Unless there's some kind of instruments on there that'll actually send something else. Like it's sensors on it for some reason, and they're just using it like, yeah, it's just a gimmick. What do you guys think? You think something else is more to that little roadster, or you just think that's it? No, that was the end of it. James Cragen, you said, Chris, Ireland is on what is called level 3 and level 4, and parts the people are shopping like it's the end of days rather, but that's because the government has the country scared to death with announcement. I know it's ridiculous, and I think it's almost like, well, we're not making money in the regular retail business, so why don't we go ahead and just drum up some business for the food, like grocery stores or whatever, right? No, like I said, I never panic about stuff like that. I go, okay, just let me think smart. Let's think clearly. We'll just go out and get a little extra, have it for the house. Next week, do the same thing. Boom. Now, I think last time, during the first wave, I don't know about you guys. I go to shop. I don't care if you're at Walmart and call it what you want, any store you go to. I was like, where's the meat in this darn place? They wiped it, like you said, like it was the end of the planet or something going on. It's like people have lost their minds. But it's better to be safe than sorry, I guess. I'm not sure if I missed one of these comments because it did jump down on me. But I've seen. Let me go back to it here because I don't know if I missed this or what. Josh Owens, you said image compression. Did I miss another one of your comments? I mean, I'm trying not to if I can help it. Yeah, maybe they are. The New Zealand rabbits, they're huge. In fact, we had a cage this big, and it was funny because we get the rabbit, it's this little thing, and of course, as the months went by, this thing grew like astronomically. I'm like, oh my god. So a friend of mine had a farm where he had other rabbits and stuff. I said, go ahead and take it. I said, I hate to see it cramped up in this little thing, and I'd rather see it roam. Now the other one we kept because it's so much smaller, but and the rabbit lived out a great life over there with other rabbits and stuff. Yeah, Architect, I noticed how you jumped in there, and I appreciate you doing that. You said, I read that comment on the latest vid. It was suggested Neville Thompson was doctoring the images, too. I told them to go check the originals himself that Neville used. And exactly, it's like, you would have to literally go to the extreme, like I said, saturate that thing to actually see that. And like I said, I even wrote back to him, I said that most of these guys that do any of these pans, they're literally just taking these photos, taking the stock ones and just stitching them. That's all they're doing. They're using a program to stitch them. That's all. They're not doing anything extravagant. Now, sometimes Neville will enhance it. He'll get rid of the pukey color, things like that. But other than that, you won't see him do too much of that. He hates the idea of even manipulating a photo, like enhancing it or whatever. He doesn't really like it. But he will take time to just take the crappy color off, and that's pretty much it. And you could do that with auto color on, just take each photo, do the auto color, and then stitch it and whatever. You can blend it, sure, but I mean, if you do it right and you align it right, you don't have to worry about that crap. So I don't have any problem with people being skeptical and so on and so forth. I really don't. But, and he doesn't know how Neville actually puts these together. So this is the reason why I was trying to tell him and, let him know what was going on, Let me see here. Of course, you said, get your pigs in a blankets while you can. Yeah, go out, run out and get those. Gotta have them. Dave Avery, Nev T lives not far from me. He's a canny bloke. Yeah, he's funny as hell, though. I've been on there with him many a times. We all got together and, talked about certain things about Mars. We've done videos together in the past and stuff. And, yeah, he's funny as shit, though. He's great. Claire Mead, what's going on? He said, hi, all. What's happening? John Schaub, what's going on, man? Hey, by the way, I liked your photos there of your vehicles. I like the 64 Custom C10 as well as your 73 Olds. That's pretty sweet. Nicely done. I don't know if you did all the work yourself, but nicely done. I like the 98 because I've had, well, trying to remember my grandfather, this is years ago, he had a 75 Delta 88 with a 350 rocket. I think yours has the 455, am I right? With the 400 turbo hydromatic. I love the sound of an Oldsmobile engine. They just got their own kind of sound to them. But nicely done, by the way. Metalhead, what's going on? You said, what's up, everyone? What's going on? Sky Team Galaxy says, hi, Chris. Nice to see you again. Good to see you in there, man. Hope you're doing well. Let me see. Oh, okay, Josh, I see what you're saying now. You said the weird stuff in the sky on the last video, I think, was image compression and a result of how the pan was stitched, not anyone painting the sky. I don't know. You could see the way they went around with this thing. It's like they took a paintbrush kind of thing and just went around the edge. You see how smooth that was? It wasn't like a compression. You know what compressions are, clearly. But, I mean, and you usually just square and all put there. And when you zoom into it, you really see these artifacts pretty bad or good, depending on how you look at it. So, to me, that was done intentionally. That was not something that was just an artifact or something that was put together by the stitching. Now, I don't know if you could have some in between each stitch to blend. That I get. That makes a little more sense. But, no, I think that's something that was done in the photo itself. What I need to do is check the rest of that pan. Because I was thinking about that after. I'm saying, okay, this side seems to be doing that. I wonder if the rest of the pan is also doing that, right? Because I didn't count how many of these photos are stitched together. But I would like to check that out. I probably should. Clerks 93, yo, he says. What's going on, Clerks? Oh, nice, John. You said, yes, I did all. Nice. Yeah, nice ride, man. I like that, especially that Olds. Those are nice. Equalizer says, hit them, thumbs up. Hit it, boys and ladies and gents. Boys, girls, all kinds of good stuff. Let's see. James, thank you very much for your support, man. Always appreciated. You know that. Chris, your Mars vid yesterday, in my opinion, has some of the best evidence of past and present civilizations that lived or used a planet structure and mechanical-looking materials everywhere. And like I said, I'm trying to give everybody the, kind of like both. In other words, when I said to you, do I believe that they're either building into these buttes? Because it makes sense sometimes, right? You can avoid the radiation of the sun. It's great insulation with the dirt around you. Or are they making these actual structures look like buttes? With the way they do these censoring of these photos and manipulations, it wouldn't surprise me either way, right? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think it's an actual structure that they're covering up to make it look like a butte, or do you think they're like literally building into this? What I found interesting is the way those openings or squares, call them what you will, those features in there, it's like the top of the butte was like this and these were this way. That's why I'm thinking it's a structure and they just kind of drew around it and made it look like a butte. But that's just my thinking. What are your thoughts on this, guys? Sparker, she said, love your channel, Chris. So many anomalies. Well, I appreciate that. Oh, Josh, I have no doubt. Like I said, you could be very well right. I'm not denying anything because, listen, you got to keep an open mind to this, right? But like I said, I know he wouldn't have done this himself. So if it was something done, because keep in mind, you can look at a lot of these photos. Go to what do they used to call it? And I used this thing a long time ago. It's basically a program you can go online and then check it to see if it's legit. Okay. Jean just said, thank you, Chris. Sorry. He was going to jump in there, but he's going to jump in on the, the chat. So it'd be good to see him in there. But like I said, I know for a fact he would not do that. Now, I don't know if it was done by someone else because we know that NASA or JPL actually uses Photoshop. That's a fact. And you can go on online and what is that? You guys will know it right at the top of your head. I haven't used it so long. Basically, you can put any picture into this program and it'll tell you everything about the photo. Photo forensics. You can go on there and it automatically will show, the camera, all this other crap, and it'll actually say edited and created by Photoshop, and it'll tell you which one it is. So is it something that was done by them? Do you believe, Joss, or what do you think? Let me jump way down here. Get some catching up here to do. If I forgot anybody, just go ahead and please re-comment, because it just jumped down. What's going on there, Jean? There he is. Hello there, all your awesome people. Well, just like you, Jean. Yeah, you must have got that too late. Like I said, I was just going to give you another invite if you're just hanging, not doing much of anything. I was going to give you the invite. Well, I did give you the invite. But no problem, man. We'll definitely do it again anyway. AkiTitanNet says that structure could also be one of those anomalous rock features John Ward shows us. Yeah, like when you get that top view, sometimes you get like these square blocks or these round ones right next to it, and it's right on top of these either monolithic, site type things where it's got these, big blocks and so on. So, megalithic sites. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of times we see from a satellite view from what Jean does. So is it possible that this is similar? But we always see that thing would have to be oval, you know what I mean, from the sky looking down. And we usually don't see a whole lot of that. We see like a squares or some big blocks and stuff. I don't know. Tony Gibbs, you said, after everything I've seen on your vids, I seriously doubt if any of the large singular rock piles are anything but craft or a structure. I know, I've seen that myself. It's like they're literally doctoring these things up. And be truthful with you guys, I didn't even know those lines at first. I'm just kind of looking at, okay, I'm just seeing some junk laying all over the side. Didn't think nothing of it. Then I started going over this thing, and I'm going, wait a minute, I see some lines going like this, going across, coming down. I said, what the hell? So, like I said, just use the burn tool real lightly, very lightly, and see if you can bring anything out. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there to pull out. If you get a line or something like that comes out, just enhance it and leave it there and see what it comes out to be. Those are there for a reason. Now, either that was done by the CGI department, meaning they put like a square around it and kind of like blocked out in certain sections, or it was something they just try to hide the lines itself so that we don't see what's actually on the side of this so-called hill or butte, right? This thing just jumped again on me. Equalizer, he said the newly announced Space Force by Trump and the weaponized satellites during a slip of the tongue by Trump have been in work for 40 years on both the moon and Mars. Man has been to before. Well, like I said, it all started with the Star Wars back in the 80s, right? Come on. It's a bunch of crap to believe that this is all new. Ooh, we have now, Space Force. Come on. We've had that since the 80s and before then. And I agree with you guys. We've probably been a lot more than just to the moon. I guarantee it somehow we've been to Mars as well. Like I said, what's the difference between going to the moon and Mars? Well, a hell of a lot more distance, that's for sure. And more exposure to maybe radiation. So obviously we're going to be more sheltered or shielded from that. We have to have more food. We have to figure a way to keep our muscles strong. So there has to be some way that they can do that. So there's a little bit more of a challenge, obviously. But it can be done. I can almost guarantee it. And if they'd done this in the early, late 60s rather than early 70s, as far as what we know as far as manned, then clearly they could have kept going with it. So, and they could have kept going to the moon. Okay, it's time to start going to Mars. Very good possibility, right? And if they can retrofit a couple of them space shuttles, why not? Very easily. They built the ISS with these shuttles. So why can't they bring stuff in the cargo area and go build something on Mars? You know what I mean? Now, that's all pure speculation, but that doesn't mean it's totally out of the realm of possibilities, right? Mr. Porkon, thank you very much for your support. He says, Chris Mars Anomalies rocks. I do appreciate you. Thank you very much. Josh, you said some stitching software will do things to the image when stitching them using feathered boundaries. Exactly. Okay. Exactly like would be seen in the sky in that video. See, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of his photos before, and I've never seen that. In fact, I had done one a while back where I enhanced it by accident. I literally turned the thing up, and I've never seen that. Now, I'm not saying you won't see any blockiness, because I've seen that, right? Because that's just going to be the nature of, a digital photo or whatever. That's common, right? But I've never seen that kind of type of thing. It literally looks like somebody went like that and just went around it. Just like you're saying. If you're saying it's to smooth out the edge, okay. But to me, if that's, again, I don't believe he's doing that. So if they're doing it, I don't know what the purpose of it would be when it's a raw photo to begin with. Just remember that. These are all raw. Coming straight from the rover, either uplinking to the orbiters and coming to Earth or straight to Earth. One of the two is happening. So why would they do that? Tony Gibson, you said, unless you or someone else zooms into the background to look at something specific, I think most are cover sheets, a.k.a. camp. Well, I've said this before, and I don't believe that... is that thing frozen on there? Or is that... Let me see here. Okay, there it goes. I just want to be sure. I got sidetracked because I'm looking at this thing here, looking at the live feed, make sure she's working good. Let me go back where it was here. Oh, yeah. You said, I think, this is what I was getting at. I think a lot of the background is being hidden. Just kind of like a lot of these moon photos when you see people go, how come there's no stars? Well, I think we know the answer to that. Because the actual surface, it's like trying to see stars on the daylight here on Earth. And because they, according to NASA and JPL and all these other space agencies, the moon is highly reflective as far as the ground, so therefore you won't see the stars. Now, obviously, if you're on the other side of the moon where it's darker at the time, then you'd probably see the stars everywhere. But my argument is that a lot of this, and I've done this myself and I've seen this with my own eye and showed it in my videos, where you can see like there'd be like a little piece squared out and there's like something reflective, and it could be nothing more than a artifact from the actual original prints. But you can see where they literally painted out things, literally airbrushed them out. And this is known. This is well known. So if they're going to do that to these moon photos, why wouldn't they do them to Mars as well? I mean, it just makes sense. Especially if you're trying to block out something that could be the most important thing to mankind, and it's something they're trying to suppress, then it makes sense to do that, right? Jerry McDonald, he said, hey, Big Chris, hey, community, what's up? No, not a whole lot much. Okay. Not a whole lot, Jerry. What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Let me see here. Let's see. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, Tony. You said camouflage, not camp, just like the obvious fake painted. Well, yeah. Yep. Metalhead, you said they basically admit by leaving. I think it jumped on me. I hate it when it does this. Oh my god. It just jumped on me again, yeah. Okay, I got that part. Let's jump down where it was. Let's go back down. Okay, yeah, you said they basically admit it and by leaving that info there for anyone to find it if they want to. Well, that's what I said. Because many people have asked me that question, Chris, why don't, if they're just going to block out the darn photo, why not block it all out? Are they doing a slow disclosure without actually saying, look, structure, or whatever it may be? I think that's the case. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't see a darn thing in these photos. It's just, we know that. They would clearly take it all out. But I think at some point they have to leave stuff in these photos. They have to, because it has to still retain the actual real data in this photo. They can't just make one out of nothing. So to me, this is being overlaid by what they call a Z-stacking technique that the rover uses, and I'm sure that the orbiter will do the same if it's something that does it automatically, right? Mr. Dave Haverly, thank you very much. Or Havery, rather. I keep wanting to say Haverly. I don't know why. Maybe there's another one of my subs that's got that. I appreciate your support, man. I do. He said, Chris, love your work. Sky was painted out because it had clouds. NASA can't show images of possible atmosphere. Plus, did you look at the pan I sent last week? I think I did, Dave. I don't recall which one it was now. I've been looking at a lot of pans, so forgive me for that. But I'll definitely go back and check it out, just to be sure. But yeah, I mean, now I don't know if they'd be afraid to show clouds, because they have showed like cirrus clouds in the past, right? I think there was like three photos. And what they do is they made them look like they just put them in, progression, just boom, 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 boom. And you can literally see the clouds go like this. So they kept streaming, of course it was a loop. So they're not afraid to really show that part. So I'm guessing it's something else. And again, we can only speculate what it may be in the background. But if you're going to go through if that stuff is in fact done, where they've done that, and if they've done that, I can only determine that they're trying to hide something. Because if it's a raw photo, that means straight from the camera to here. Now, they say that the CGI department is there to make it aesthetically better looking for the public. Well, I don't believe that, because I see the difference in texture of the photos now, so it must be some kind of AI actually going over these photos. The texture is totally different. If you guys don't believe me, look at it. Go to the newer Gigapans and go to the older ones. Everything looks so much clearer and better. It doesn't have that fuzzy look around everything around it. It doesn't have any of that. I did hear something about that, John. You said, did you hear about the massive UFO sighting that Trump is going to investigate? Third phase of Moon is compiling a special report about it, too. Yeah, I heard about that just briefly, and I was like, wow, what the heck's that all about? So, yeah, I'll be interested to see what that's all about, too. Adam, you said Chris, I did some digging myself on last week's chat, Mars Blue Skies. All I come up with is with NASA footage when they were wearing blue shirts, not what you uncovered. Do you have links? Actually, it was Jean. It was on his site that it showed the original one, which was blue, and then it showed. Did you try looking up Insight lander from NASA live? Whatever, landing of Insight, because he had it on his site where it showed it was blue sky, and I seen it myself. I saw the video myself, and then it wasn't 10 seconds later, it was like all red, and I'm almost positive I heard somebody say, "Hey, what happened to the blue sky?" I mean, even people in NASA, keep this in mind. This is what makes me believe there's the PR part of NASA, and there's the black ops part of it. And this is the reason why even they're not even in the loop, right? They're like, wow, the sky's blue. Why would they be so damn surprised at this? Because they're being conditioned like you and I, where we see nothing but red pukey skies, or these orange kind of skies. Think about it. If they're not aware of it, they're going to be surprised just as much as you and I. But to me, that absolutely proved that NASA has blue skies. Absolutely. And like Jean, you were saying about how the guy next to the monitor was totally pissed. You can see him, he's got his boom mic on him. You can just see he looks irritated. He looks very angry at the time. So there's no doubt in my mind they made a slip up on that. There's no doubt. If you go back, like I said, Adam, to that last hangout with Jean and myself, the link is in there. It'll take you right to his page, and you can see that. Now, as far as the video, I think Jean's even got that up there, too. I can't be sure. Jean, do you have that up there, too, the actual video to that? I know you had a bunch of links up there, and for some reason they weren't working at the time. George Mayer, what's happening? You said, hi, Chris, and all great to be here. Again, I love you guys. Well, George, nothing but love for you, too, man. Good to see you in there. Alien Tenny said a lot of Earth telescopes have been taken over by the respective governments. They know what's coming. Yeah, it's funny because remember they had a big shutdown of the telescopes a while back. There was one specifically that was actually being shut down temporarily. I don't know if it's even been opened up again. But I don't know if there was some body coming towards Earth or whatever it was at the time. Now, like I said, I don't get into all that fear-mongering crap. It is what it is. If somebody came on the TV today and said, by the way, just they've been hiding this from people, and here comes this big rock, it's going to kill us all within a day. Oh, well. Just tell everybody you love that, you love them, and that's the end of it. I mean, what else can you do? Especially if it's very large rock. Yeah, you can pretty much kiss our butts goodbye. Let's see. Elaine Millard, you said on my TV screen, there seems to be like a semi-transparent frosting, cloudy, patchy overlay. It seems fairly consistent. If it was dirt on the lens, the patches wouldn't be so uniform looking. Absolutely, I agree. What I found was interesting on that insight was that, like I said, they said, oh, yeah, the first picture should be coming down. First, they waited for the ping, so they knew it set down right. Okay, they got confirmation with that. They said the new one should be coming out soon, and poof. Oh, man. I think somebody goofed up bad. They were supposed to go, okay, drop the red filter, the orange filter. Go ahead and drop that. Because it's on they actually have that on the Curiosity rover. It's right there on the turret, right at the end of the arm. It has the camera, and you can actually see a little shutter that opens and closes on it. So all they do is go drop it, and there you go. So I think somebody screwed up and forgot to do that. Because like I said, it wasn't 10, 15 seconds later. They put it down, and all of a sudden everything was red or orange, that pukey orange color. Oops. You guys, I'm just trying to see if there's any question, comments. I can see you guys actually conversing back and forth too. So, let's see. Claire Mead, you said, is the new covering texture in the photo is going to make it more difficult for you in the future? I don't believe it is. I think what they do is they transition now into that new kind of AI, I'm thinking it is, because you can see how it has like this fuzziness all around these rocks, these so-called rocks you see in the photos. So I don't think that's going to be the case. In other words, I think they changed it then, so when the new rover gets there, it'll just transition just as easy. I'm hoping I'm wrong and the photos are better, but I'm not holding my breath. Let's just put it that way. I'm not holding my breath on it. And, they're going to continue to do what they've been doing, hiding and whatever else and censoring these photos. At least that's my opinion. You guys may differ in that opinion. But I'm hoping that I'm wrong and that they're going to show better photos. I know they'll be able to show much larger photos because it's supposed to be a larger cam as far as megapixels. So time will tell. It's going to be there. I think it's in February or was it April? Might have been April. So we'll see what happens. Rick C., what's going on? He said, but what are those parts about they have been blurred? They might or might not know. If those photos have this evident content of intelligent life, the Martian dust also have made may have made it look or appear different. Well, that's true. You know, like I said, over a course of years, depending on how long this stuff has been here, some people say, well, maybe it was covered to begin with, and now that the wind's actually uncovering it, so this is the reason why we're seeing some of it. Also, it could be actually like a regular sand dune. It could bury parts of things and unbury parts of things, right? Depending on how the wind direction swirls around or whatever. So, I mean, it could be a combination of a lot of things, right? We just don't know. But, you know, the more you dig, the more you find out. And like I said, it's like a crackjack box. You just don't know what you're going to find in this stuff. Tony Gibbs, you said the blue sky pictures were there, but hard to find these days. Well, yes, they are. Leslie said, you are right, Chris. The old pics were clearer, but new stuff is rubbish. Yeah, pretty much. It's almost like they're doing, if they put it like in this weird kind of fuzziness around every rock or whatever it may be, you can't really see the real clear details of it. And that's the idea. Fool the eyes. But there's ways around that. You can get around that and try to bring out a little bit better. But they're slick. I mean, they're really slick. Before, they'd put that really weird grid pattern on there. You know, when you zoom in, you see this like bunch of line grid pattern to like block out, you know, these kind of details in the photo. But I think they figured out a way to use it like the AI and kind of mess with people's eyes. Alien 10, you watched it live? Yeah, I think I watched it like the day after. I wanted to see it, and I was like, God. So I ended up going back to NASA's site and watched it. And I was like, oh my God, check that out. In fact, I did a video about that. The Insight Lander. You can look it up you can search it on my homepage, and it said Insight Lander. And I actually say that in there. You can see the blue sky, and then you can see I might have taken even screenshots of that, now that I think about it, where it's blue and then all of a sudden it's black. But see, they were supposed to actually have that filter on there, and of course somebody had said, well, I think they might have also had another cap, like a clear cap on there. So, because I said, what about the dust that somehow got onto the lens? And they said, well, that might have been just a lens they could lift off, another clear lens. So once this has happened and they've landed, now they just go ahead and get that lens cover out of the way, the clear one, and then you can see, you know, what's going on. And that would make sense. If they didn't, then you go, okay, how did the camera lens clean itself? The only thing I can think of is like I had little ear jets on each side, just hit it with a quick blast of air and just blow it right off there. And they may even have something like that because it's not the first and only time you'll have a windstorm on Mars. So does it stick to the lens? How do they clean it? Unless they just close it every time they think there's going to be a windstorm, but who knows, right? Jerry McDonald, yeah, you're right. You said I researched about the first rover on Mars, the Viking, in the 70s. Chris has talked about it before. 3 samples came back positive for life on Mars. That's all the proof I need. And yeah, they'll still argue about it today, meaning scientists. And I don't know why they are. Just say, yeah, there was life on Mars. Okay, be done with it. Even if it was fossilized microbial life, okay, be done with it. But they think it, like the implications, like, well, what happens if they make this huge leap from microbial to intelligent life? Well, why not? We once started off like that too. So, yeah, why is it hard to believe? And it's almost like they don't want to open that Pandora's box. And they just don't want to do that. And it's like, why? It's not a big deal. You know, but they're afraid, oh, yeah, but people ask questions. Other countries ask questions. What did they have up there? Were they like Neanderthals, or were they like high tech? Oh, my God, we got to get there. Think about it. Big bum rush. And they don't want that. Not that they're not doing it now. Mimi, I seen you talking to Jean. You said, I really missed the big Saturday evening shows. It was fun for the whole family. Everybody get together and tell Jean, do your hangout. Do your hangout. Everybody with me. I told him, I said, you ought to do that yourself. It's a great way to answer questions for all of his subs. He's got great subs just like we have here. Just have, you can actually talk about like a gigapan or whatever it is you want to talk about. It's awesome, Let me swing down to the bottom here. George, I hope you're right. You said with the new rover, they might start to show us more and then announce new finds. I'm guessing, like I said, I've already said it, they're going to come out with, we found fossilized microbial life, or they're going to say we found microbial life. And then, slowly but surely, we found some little patch of macro. Then they're going to find maybe some little, like I said, a little bit of plant life. And they'll just slowly go into that. To be truthful, I don't know if they're going to wait until we have a civilization on Mars. I don't mean like it's going to be full-blown like 100 years from now. But it's like once they get structures there, and it's like, in other words, just the norm now. Everybody goes, oh, yeah, they're up there doing their thing, They might say, oh, by the way, we found this, what looks like a structure that might have been made by intelligent life. It doesn't matter at that point because we're already there. They've already investigated, got their hands all over everything. So now they just go, okay. And by then, they've already gotten everything they needed. So, unfortunately, I hope it doesn't take that long. But, you guys know how that is. Disclosure, they don't just dump that in your lap, right? James Cregan, the cloth of glasses of the selective blind have here tonight, and the CGI boys glasses in NASA. Mars vid of the week can't see nothing. Yeah, right. You'll get that. And again, James, thank you very much for your support. I still have people that will doubt it, and I go, listen, I'm not here to convince you. I'm just saying this is what I found. This is what I have covered right here in the photo. You guys make up your own decisions. Some people go, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you're telling the truth. It's like, why would I lie about it? I have no reason to lie. I find this stuff fascinating like everybody else does. And I don't know what I'm going to find in these photos when I get in them. It might be absolutely nothing. I don't know how many times I go, okay, I don't see anything of any value. And they've done such a job on their censoring these photos. It's not worth it next. So on and so forth. Or there's just flat out nothing to see in the photo. So clearly I'm not going to do a video about it. And I remember years ago when I first started this, one guy says, man, this guy finds something in every photo. No, actually I don't, because you wouldn't believe the ratio to the ones I haven't found anything in and discarded. It's just nothing in them. Or you can't bring out enough to convey to you folks. So what's the point? I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm sure in heck not going to waste mine. So that's the way I look at it. And I go, listen, grab the stuff yourself. Look at it for yourself. I encourage everybody to do that. Not just to listen to me, but go and get the photo yourself. That's why we dropped the link. And go look at it yourself and go, okay, maybe you like to enhance photos too. Do that. And come up with, okay, I come to this conclusion. It's all your decision. Whoops. All right, let's see. What's going on there? Frack Centurion, he said, good morning. Thumbs up for Chris. Let me see. There you go, Noodles. Get Jean on that. Jean Ward, a 5,000 subscriber special and live chat would be fun to moderate. Yeah, I think everybody should do it because, everybody knows Jean now because he's been on here as well. And, of course, he's on his own. But to sit there and chat back and forth with him, I think he'd do fantastic. So, and like I said, I told him I'd give him a hand with it. I was actually nervous when I first got on doing these because I'm like, what happens if I make a huge mistake? It's like, what do I do now? So what? You're human. You're bound to make mistakes, right? That's the way I look at it. But I told him I'd set him up with the software and how to get all the settings done on it and everything else, and so it'd be a breeze for him. I had to figure out all the settings on this for this computer here. It's not easy. I had to do some research to get it just right. Well, John, I mean, here's the thing. You were just talking to Noodles about it. He said, I don't know if I'd be able to handle the presentation and a live chat at the same time. Chris has it mastered. Well, the thing is, if you just go on YouTube itself, let's say you don't even use the software. You know you can go live on your own channel. Just use it. If you're just going to talk back and forth and just interact with people, and of course you'll have your people on the right-hand side, you don't need to do anything else. You know, you're just having a presentation, you're talking back, maybe it's a Q&A, and that's the simplest way to do it. Because I used to go live straight through YouTube, and then I started using this so that I could show my screens and everything else, and you could still do the same. All you got to do is just, get off there, just take it off the screen, and then, look at other photos. I prefer not to do that because, like I said, I've got 2 computers set up. So, but that's just me. But I used to do it live this way, just straight through YouTube, and it's not bad to do. Like I said, you can always do a test one. Get on there and test, and you'll find your subs will jump in there. I did that by accident. Well, not by accident. I did it on my lunar anomalies just to test it, and people just jumped right in. And I was like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" So I just decided to do a pretty much a live feed, and so it's kind of cool. Let's see. Renee Vaughn, you said, question, when Billy joins in, Jean is also there? Well, probably won't be this time. We can always do that, though. So I like the idea of, having, a one-on-one thing. And like I said, just remember, guys, that reminds me, that we'll have Mr. Billy Carson on there this next Friday coming up. If everything goes right, I mean, he's busy. He's literally all over the place. I mean, it's crazy how much this guy flies. Every time you turn around, it says, wheels are up. He's somewhere else. But it's funny because I actually had, let me see if I can find this thing. I have a picture because I don't know if you guys know how tall this guy is, but he's like 6'4". So he's actually taller than I am. I'm like, what the hell? Let me see. I'm not going to find it now. But that's so much crap in here. It's pitiful. Let's see here. I had it here. I don't know where it went. Anyway, it doesn't really matter at this point. Let's see. All right. But yeah, he came up this last weekend that passed. We did the segment there that I'm going to be on the documentary, The Black Knight Satellite. So this weekend coming up, though, I mean, it might be Q&A. I like the idea of having him on for this reason. One, he's very knowledgeable, a lot more knowledgeable about ancient civilizations than I am. Although I know quite a bit, he's like the aficionado in it. I mean, that's all there is to it. And there is a connection. You got this connection between ancient civilization as well as, some of them talked about how they talk about things about, civilization or a stop point on Mars as well as the moon, so on and so forth. And there's a connection. I mean, look at the way Egypt and the Mayan culture, how they built their structures in the way of star clusters and everything else. Yeah. So it'd be awesome to have him on there. He's a good guy. We had a great time. We hung out and just chilled, did the documentary part of it, and then that was it. Sweet. Jean, you said I'm publishing my next video to YouTube over the weekend, and it's going to overwhelm your eyepiece magnifiers. Artifacts upon artifacts, layers upon layers of it. Sweet. That's what people want to see. Dave Havery. Hey guys, having to drop out early. I'll watch the rest of the show tomorrow. Good night, Chris, Noodles, and everyone here tonight. Stay safe and well. Keep the faith. All right, Dave, good seeing you there. Appreciate you being here, and you have yourself a good weekend there, right? Leslie, you're right about that. You said some folks get frightened of the truth. Even if it isn't frightened, I don't know if I'd use that term in many times. I think it's because you've been conditioned so much to believe that there's nothing out there, there's nothing to see. You know, if they keep pounding something into your head, you're going to believe it after a while. And, you know, and I think they should start coming out with the truth. I mean, it's like we've seen it time and time again where NASA's lied and censored photos, and it's like, wow, come on. But I don't really complain too much about it because it's like, listen, I'll take all the photos we can get. We'll search through these things and see what we can find. Again, many photos, nothing there to see, or can't bring it out enough to even convey it. There's no point. And like I said, I'm just not going to waste your time. So I'd rather just go find something that's evident, meaning it stands out. This is the reason why sometimes I do the larger anomalies, and a lot of guys will say, hey, Chris, you so missed this. No, I just went after the larger one so people can see this better. A lot of times people are on their smaller devices, whether it be phones, tablets, whatever it may be, and it's not a whole lot. How many of you guys are on PCs? I'm just curious. Because, like I said, I mean, if you're watching something very small, just picture trying to zoom in on the smallest little thing. It literally breaks apart, and then it looks like crap on a small device, even though they're capable of, like, some of these things, like, 4K. But still, when you zoom in, it just breaks apart. So I'd rather do it a lot larger anomalies if I can, right? Nah. John, you said, Chris, you make it look so easy. I'll be very nervous. Nah. Yeah, like I said, your subs know you. This is, I'll tell you what would make you nervous, is that you've never shown your face on your videos, then decide to do one. Think about that a minute. That's where you'd be nervous. If you've never shown your face, all of a sudden, let me go ahead and go live. You're like, what are people going to think? It's like, then they'll be like, because they won't know what to expect until they actually see you. That part wouldn't bother them. They'd be like, oh, wow. In fact, I think the first time I did mine, they said, oh, finally there's a face to the voice. So that was cool in that aspect. So that was the first time I'd done put my face in the actual videos. But now picture going from never doing that to doing a live feed. I can see you being nervous then, but people already know what you look like and who you are, and so it'd just be like just you doing a Q&A and just, hey guys, what's up? Just hanging out with them, basically, Like all the fine folks on this. I mean, we just sit there, kick it back and forth, and kicking it with each other, and it's awesome. It's like just a bunch of family just hanging around at a picnic. Yo, what's up? And so, Mick Gordon, he said, nice work you put in, mate. Well, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Even John says the same thing. See it? John, we all know you. And like I said, John, I'll help you out anyway if you wanted, whatever way you want to go about it. So, definitely, I think it's just a better way to actually get to know your subs too, which is good. Will you stumble on things and stuff like, who cares? I mean, you're human. You know what I mean? Because it's like me when I first got on there. See, when you do a video, you can edit that. When you're on live feed, you're like you trip on words and everything. So what? Nothing's rehearsed here. We're just kind of, going with the flow and see how it works out. I mean, what can you do, right? Elaine Walls, thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much. He said, yay, Friday night and the best people. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to bring us all together. Your last Mars video is mind-blowing. Well, I do appreciate that. And again, thank you, Elaine. Thanks everybody for their support. Let me see here. Paul Godden, thank you very much again for your support. It's like, hey, you. Those things are cool. The dancing pair, I call it. 76 Auto, when'd you jump in there? Good to see you, man. And thank you very much for your support, as always. It is appreciated. I didn't even see you bouncing there. Sarah Michelle's in there. Good evening or morning at John Ward. John Ward. What's going on there, Sarah? Good to see you in there, as always. Adam, you said, yep, definitely, Chris. You cannot convince everyone of your work and Jean's, or Jean's. I keep wanting to say Jean because that's what I said to him, called him last time. I've spoken to 2 people at work. I accidentally showed him the Blue Mars photo that I taken screenshot and said newish photo. Well, here's the thing. Again, you can't, the average person, unless you're like us and like-minded people, unless they're just like you ever notice if you try to talk to people about it, like could be coworkers, could be family members, they didn't know you were in on this stuff, and you start to go on, they literally glaze right over. They're like, what about the Kardashians? I mean, they don't care. And it's sad because the world is much larger than that, than watching sitcoms and garbage. Come on. It's worth much more than that. And like I said before, we are larger, much larger than what we think we are. And that's what people need to understand. There's so much more out there. Oops. Elaine, you said, I look at the Gigapan part on TV, but follow chat and Chris talking on PC, since the TV is about 4 to 5 seconds behind for some reason. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just the way might be the app on it. My eyes blur up quick on small devices and the use. Yeah, and they're useless. So, yeah. Let's see. Goat Heart, what's going on? You said, hello, Chris, and everyone. Late from work, but tuned in now. Sweet. Good to have you in there, Goat Heart. Kenneth Proctor, your question was, do you think they sent the drone up to dust off stuff to get better pictures? Not that we can get to see them. No, I think it's more, one, the actual copter can get around a whole lot faster, right, because it can just fly. Whereas the rover's in a crawl mode. Now, once it comes up on whatever said object they want to look at, they can literally just fly up and over it, side to side, and just go around it. And I think it's, like I said, the flight time's like 7 to like 11 seconds. I forget what, 11 minutes rather. 7 to 11 minutes. So it'll fly, and then, of course, it lands and it recharges, right? So my guess is what they're trying to do is fly up and over things that the rover cannot. And it can do it so much faster. It records it, sends the video file to the rover, and then, of course, it uplinks it or sends it directly to Earth. So, and I think they'll be doing that a lot more. And I'm almost positive, and like I said, I've read that to you guys many a times where I said about quantum communications, and I still believe that's huge right now. And they've probably been either using laser or something to that effect, and they can just get like almost live video, completely live, with probably virtually almost no lag. So, even if they're not, who cares? They can still send a short video back here, and they can see what, just check this object out. Now, what if, and it's pure speculation, but if they're looking at a structure that's dilapidated or whatever it may be, this thing can fly into it, come back out. It's autonomous, I believe, just like the actual rovers. So I can go in, check this thing out, come back out, or fly up and around it. Who knows? But if it works out, you can almost bet that's why they're doing it. They claim it's supposed to help the rover navigate better. Well, what the hell? There's not one up there right now, right? What about our 2012 rover that's up there, the Curiosity? It seems to be doing fine. It rides around and drives around autonomously, so why do you need a copter again? Nah, there's much more to it than that. Much, much more. Smart Steve 68, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Oh, there you are. I didn't get far enough down there, but hello, Sarah. Good to see you in there. Hope you're doing well. And I did get your email and read it all, of course. You got a response by that. So, awesome. And can't wait to see that, by the way. She's putting a little something together. We won't say anything. Architect Nat, thank you very much for your support, man. Definitely appreciate you. The one YouTube channel all NASA employees secretly watch. Life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop, there you go. I know exactly where that's from. You look around once in a while, you'll miss it. If you are here, then you know this. Yep. Bueller. See, Jean, even Sarah says the same thing. I would enjoy a Jean Ward live to air, or whatever this thing is called. Jean is an amazing narrator. What a voice. Absolutely. See, everybody agrees. Got to make it happen, Jean. Well, it's funny you guys are saying that because it's like, let me see. This rover here, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's a dual axle, they call it, anchors and deploys axle. And I'm going to let you guys see this. I won't play the sound because it's already got like a kind of a writing. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The rovers used by NASA are essential for space exploration to collect data on the surface of the planets. Although they have many scientific instruments, their movement is still quite limited. This is why the Perseverance rover takes a small helicopter on board called Ingenuity. The latter will perform the first flight over the red planet. The U.S. Space Agency is now in the process of developing a new rover prototype named Duaxle. From a distance, the Duaxle rover looks like every other four-wheel drive or four-wheel rover that we know of. However, its operation is completely unique. Duaxle has a distinctive of being flexible and versatile. The rear part of the rover can be anchored to the ground while the front part separates on two wheels. Once detached, the two parts of the rover are connected by a cable. I don't think it's for power and everything else. Funny enough, too, you'll see this when you get to look at it. It literally, if you look at the actual, I'm going to call it the hub, you can see the wheels turning, but then it has these white hubs. There's actually looks like a Wi-Fi antenna. I'm going, well, doesn't the data actually transfer through the cable too? Or does it do it separately, which could very well be, right? Once detached, the two parts of the rover are connected by a cable. Okay, the front part of the duaxle rover can then abseil, I think they call it, down into the craters of Mars to analyze these walls. Now, I'll show you this there. Pretty cool. Won't play any sound. You don't need to. Yeah, that's right. Let me see here. You gotta admit, that is pretty wild, guys. While we're watching this, Elaine, you said, I know what you mean about glazing over. I had a classified data looking for the Higgs-Boson, a God particle from Large Hadron Collider on telling some friends they didn't know what the particle collider was. Yeah, and they don't. The average person doesn't know what this thing is, even are. They're just like, I don't know. Like I said, just ask anybody about the latest photos from Mars. Like, I didn't realize they're sending back photos. They just don't know. Now, that thing is pretty wild. And, of course, they have to test it. That's a test zone that they put this thing through, and they put all kind of rigorous testing into it. So that's pretty wild. Pretty cool stuff. What do you guys think of that? I mean, they're always coming out with something new, right? And I think it's awesome that they're doing that. It's just constantly trying to push the envelope. How can we do, put these things on the most remote planets or moons to get these things to do it? Because think about it. They don't have to worry about, other than being extremely cold or extremely hot, they really don't have to worry about too much as far as, them. They don't have to go cold, hungry, and everything else. They figured out a way to do these, kind of like the rover. It gets too cold, it gets heat from the actual nuclear power plant from it, and if it gets too cold, it can vent itself. So it's pretty wild. It can still maintain a temperature in the main body of the rover, right? Because even though they can make the electronics pretty robust, they still could be sensitive to it. They can vary. You take a resistor in a circuit and make it extremely cold, extremely hot. It'll vary on its value, right? So the tolerances change. So they got to keep it within a certain temperature. Maybe the drone will crash and the rope will rip. God, I hope not. Jean, you said nice gadgets. Something like this will work a lot better than Curiosity. That's too bulky and heavy to go down into depressions. Well, this is the reason why they're going to probably have the copter too. To me, and think about this. At some point, what happens if they get to the point where they say, okay, the heck with rovers, and start using helicopters and things much bigger? So in other words, instead of landing a rover that size, they'll launch maybe something like a quadcopter type thing, and they'll have all the instruments on the underbelly, radar, the whole 9 yards, right? And just scan the ground, fly over around things, and maybe have smaller ones. They can go in there and look around. Oh, yeah, don't worry. Wheels and stuff, at some point they're going to be using more rovers because they're a lot more fast. They can cover more ground. Helicopters can cover a lot more area, Exactly, Third Eye Open. You're right. You said people rarely even look up at the sky, let alone photos of Mars. That's a fact. Jeremy, you said, Broderick, you said, I still do not trust NASA. They need their billions, all I am saying. Well, that's true. Unless, think about it. It's not like, your local repair shop where they say, well, you're going to need a new transmission for your car and rip you off. I get that. But what do they got to gain by it? So they still have to do what they've set out to do because they're getting money from, they're getting money from the government, basically, right? So the government says, okay, we need to see some kind of progress. So they have to show progress. So, and like I said, at one point, I said this before, where they had a couple scientists and a couple people raising hell about it saying, hey, listen, where these photos you promised us, we need to see more of these. So, okay, so the real photos are there, but what's overlaid or CGI'd over them is the crap that they're putting over it. This is the reason why you can see little peaks of things like things sticking out of a rock. Or how many times have I showed you guys what looked like a transparent rock? Is it really transparent? Or is it an overlay to fool the eyes? Well, it's the latter. It's there to fool the eyes. These, again, are called Z-stacked. They're taking the original photo and they can stack anything over it, whether it's semi-transparent, to still have the real data in the photo. So you can literally put it through any kind of like forensics, and guess what? The real data is actually in the photo. But that doesn't mean it's a real photo. It's a real photo, but then it has an overlay. And this is what we're seeing many times. I don't know how many times I've seen what looked like a see-through rock. So let me guess, they have transparent rocks on Mars? I don't think so. I think there's much more to it than that. And I absolutely believe that, they're using an overlay. You get that right, Sarah. Yeah, NASA, con artist. Mark Matheny said it's all to try and fool the people. Well, at quick glance, when you look at these photos, what do you say? You go, oh, it's a photo. It's just a Martian photo. Oh, great. Let me see here. I was just looking at some of these here. In fact, we were talking about the InSight mission. And here you go. You can see a lot of these things where There's a seismometer. And here is the mole. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me do this. I can just make it bigger here. Oh, can't do it. It's not going to allow me to do it. But anyway, that's a seismometer or seismograph. And you got right here on the side, this is supposed to be the hammer that was supposed to drive in the mole. And the mole is right there in front of it. But there's things in here. This is the one that they claimed that it definitely had a blue sky. But they screwed up royally. And oh, wait a minute. Let's go ahead and put that red filter over. So, yeah, interesting. A lot of cool things. You can see they buried it in the dirt. The thing was supposed to go into the ground by itself. What happened was it hit a rock and went and slanted. I don't know if you guys have been following this. But so what they decided to use, this little shovel comes down from the arm of that, and they were pushing that down, using it to push it in. So I think they moved it, and then they decided to try to put it straight up, and they finally got it into the ground. So, yeah, pretty cool. They finally got it to work. There you go, right? This is at night. Or at least, you know. And what I don't get, this has always fooled me. Wait a minute. Okay, bright, sunny. Okay. It still looks like the sun's pretty darn bright there, but look at it. Look at the way it's... Oh, wait a minute. It's almost nightfall. It's like the sun's ready to set. It's still in the sky. How can that possibly be? So you know these photos are being fooled with on a scale that you can't believe, right? It's just there. They're just messing with it. And you can see a bunch of these photos here. Other related stuff. Poor God, and thank you very much for your support, man. Definitely appreciate you. Let's see. Richard Bunt, he said, it would be good if CERN would get us to Mars, like a machine you walk into and from, too. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys heard about that, but they were trying to create little wormholes, little black holes. You guys hear about that? And first thing I thought of was the movie Mist, The Mist. You guys ever see that? And at first I'm thinking, you know, I remember my daughter seeing it. It was funny because she said, you know, I went to see this movie. I thought it was pretty good. All my friends, you know, they all dogged it and thought it was trash. I said, all right, let me give it a watch. Maybe it is trash. I think it was a really good put-together movie. And then when you find out, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't want to spoil it, do a spoiler alert here. But really good the way they put this thing together. And it was actually a really good movie. I said, well, your friends are on crack. It was actually a good movie for what it was. And they basically opened up, what's the word I want to use? Another dimension. And I'll leave it at that. But just cool movie. And, of course, people are panicking, saying, oh, my God, they're going to open up some kind of black hole, all small ones. And they're trying to, you know, see if they can do that. So I'm like, oh, my God. So first thing people think of is the worst. That's where we're all going to die. Stop. Interesting, right? MG Toe, you said you're still having a problem hearing me. It should be fine. Barely hear you, Chris. Yeah, you might want to check the volume. I don't know if you're on the phone or anything like that, but yeah. Let me see what I got here. And volume's up on that. Let me see here. MG Toe, you said you're still having a problem hearing me. Yeah, see, the volume seems to be working fine. Oh, let's see. Herb Green, you said the earliest patent in anti-gravity, electrogravitics, was awarded to Dr. Thompson Townsend Brown in 1928 to 1929. If Nazis had anti-gravity tech and they went to the moon, this means we never needed rockets. Well, always a different way of propulsion, right? I don't know if you guys have seen this too. I think we might have even touched on it before, where they said that we never left Earth's atmosphere. And of course, a lot of these FEs, we're going to use the term, flip out. Yeah, we never left the Earth's atmosphere. To a certain degree, they're right, because they're now saying that our atmosphere reaches out a lot further. In fact, the moon is still within it. So technically, I guess they're right, but that doesn't mean we haven't been to space. And it doesn't mean we can't travel. And it doesn't mean that it's completely safe either, because the farther you go out from Earth, then it thins out to almost nothing. So there's still the hazards of, solar radiation, so on and so forth. So, I just found it interesting that in some ways they're right. We never left the atmosphere. Well, if the atmosphere reaches way out and past the moon a little bit, well, then that would be correct. However, that doesn't mean they didn't fly. They never went to the moon, so on and so forth. So I just found that entertaining, but it's true, though. Like you guys asking Herb Green, U420? What is it? Where did it go? That was pretty funny. Jean, it's funny you mentioned that movie Spaceballs. That was friggin' hilarious. Man, that goes way back now. That was pretty good. Let me see here. What did I do with it here? Oh, there's another thing too I want to pass along to you guys too. And I'll do that soon. I gotta find these things now. Where the heck did it go? Okay. All right, you can see right here, it shows the rotation of each planet, right? So when you look at Mercury, 58 days to turn on its axis. 243 days for Venus, and of course Earth is 23 and 56 minutes. Mars, not much different. I think it's like 40 minutes, somewhere around roughly. It's about 40 minutes difference. 24 hours, 36 minutes, and it goes on and on and on, right? Venus, like I said, 243 days. Now, think about that. It's kind of like on a small scale, like Alaska, right? You have 6 days of night. 6 months of night, 6 months of daylight. And it could be very well like that. So they're saying a lot of these planets like Mercury, even Venus, with the runaway greenhouse effect, it's so hot. But you got 58 days it takes for Mercury to turn on its axis, 43. So even if it was extremely hot on a planet, you could literally be out there, because what about the rest of the time when it's not in the sun? It would drop considerably. And they also said closer to, in either planet, Mercury or Venus, you go towards the actual polar caps, because there's actually polar caps on there, believe it or not. You go to the top, or go to the North or South Pole. It's almost like if you get like the sweet spot between the poles and actually, of course, the hottest part of the planets. It's like a sweet spot, like being on Earth. Now, as far as gas-wise, well, that's different, but you get the idea. And most people make the mistake. They go, well, clearly you can't breathe on Venus, or you can't breathe on Mercury. You'd die instantly. Yes, human beings would if you're out on the planet. But what if you were able to build on the planet and live in your own environment, meaning like a dome structure or underground, where you got your own atmospheric conditions and everything else? It's not far-fetched if you have the technology. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? So the other thing I wanted to convey to you guys too is, I don't know, you guys are familiar with Alien Hunter, right? How many of you guys watch his channel? And, well, if you guys answer some of that, if some of you guys answer that. Stephen Porter said, Chris, which country do you think will disclose first? I don't know. That's a tough one because if you have this kind of like black ops area where all of these space, agencies are, right? And, of course, like I said, we got the PR part of all of these space agencies, ESA, ESA, whatever you want to call them. You got NASA, the India space program, all of these, JAXA, meaning Japan, China. All of them will have their regular public part of it, and then, of course, above that. Now, the only way I think they'll do it is if one of them gets disgruntled or somehow it's leaked. That's the only way I could see them happening. So that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. But, yeah, I mean, I think it would take either warring with a country that they'll spill the beans, but then if they're part of it, then they kind of shoot themselves in the foot. So I don't know. That's a great question. And like I said, either have to be leaked out or they'll finally slowly come out with a slow disclosure. And, of course, we'll all be about 305 years old by then, so that won't be good. We'll all be pretty much compost at that time. So I don't know. It's a great question. Let me see. Mark Matheny said, why not send a couple of satellites that have heat beam technology to melt the ice? Well, I mean, again, it's kind of like I said, those two planets alone, Mercury and Venus, they're like the hottest, either greenhouse effect or very hot, right? To me, there are, and it's not to me, there are actually like a Goldilocks zone right there on the planet. So you can actually have this really good area to actually live on. In other words, not too hot, not too cold. And, if you can actually, make structures on the planet or whatever, why not? And it's like I said, some of these things are like 58, days, 343. I mean, what? Again, look at 243 days. So if you're on this side of the planet, you could be living on, it's like almost not a year for us, but maybe 3/4 of a year for us, being in the dark, but yet it's a lot cooler. Well, then they know that the time's coming where it's going to start getting sunny and very hot. They go underground. Or they're just underground or just built in domes or whatever, and they don't have to worry about it. So, in other words, they're sheltered from the heat or gases or whatever. We make the assumption just because a planet may be very harsh for us that there's no way nothing else can live on these planets. Come on. You can't think like we are. It's much different than that. Yeah, Tony, I've seen this myself. He said, so many so-called experts harping about the radiation belts, etc. Ask one to explain it to you. They just repeat stuff and don't really have a clue. Yeah. All right, so, like I said, I was going to tell you about Alien Hunter. This is what he wrote on one of his saying. He was saying goodbye to it, right? You guys are seeing this. This is on August 29th. So it says right here, you can see what he wrote. So sorry, hunters, but due to to change family circumstances, I have to bow out from my YouTube hobby. I do dream many a time that the YouTube could become a full-time job. But as it's becoming, anyway, you can read this yourself. So what I do is on September 3rd, I wrote to him, and I said, listen, I was trying to give him some ideas about his videos and stuff like that, and how he can help him out, because I didn't know if he was on the fence about this, but I respected the fact he's saying about his family. Family, to me, is everything, right? So when I wrote that, and then it wasn't until today, I've got this response back. Hi, Chris. It's Steve's, a.k.a. Anomaly Hunter wife, Karen. Just a quick heads up, as Steve doesn't want you to think he's ignoring you or anybody else, but unfortunately he has suffered a stroke and is still not 100% as yet. I'm going to try to encourage him to upload a couple more videos to aid his recovery, but I doubt that he will be able to manage any of the comment section at the moment. I'm only letting you know, and it won't be replying to anybody else, only because it probably has like tons of emails, so I can understand where she's coming from. But if you could pass this on to those that matter, it would be very grateful. I would be very grateful. I hope you and your family are doing well and staying safe. Thank you for being Steve's friends over the years. Kind regards, Karen and Steve. So just to give you guys a heads up, but I said, listen, if he's passionate about wanting to do this and getting back into it, just let me know. I'll try to help out. And people are going to love his content anyway, right? So I hope he gets back in there, Steve gets back in there, and that he jumps right back. He's had great work, and I hated to see him jump off. And I was trying to give him some clues and some hints about, helping him out with his channel, and anything I could do, I said I would help out. So, I hope he has a speedy recovery, and I hope he's doing well. I don't know if he might be even on here watching. I don't know. But love to see him get back into it. More than happy to help him out. And I know everybody loved his work. And I remember seeing the comments on it, where people are like, oh, man, don't go, this, that, and the other. So I really hated to see that because he was doing great work. Let me get this back on here. So, yeah. So he's doing well. He's recovering, so that's a good thing. And like I said, yeah, if it's his passion, I said let him jump back in. I said his subs would be more than happy to see him in there. And like I said, I gave him some pointers, too, if he wanted to jump back in. So we'll see what happens with that. And I'd love to see him recover and get back in there, right? Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Because I didn't know that either. I just left it at that because after I heard, I just gave him, like I said, September 3rd, I gave him that. And you can see how long it took her to get back to me, which is fine. I don't care. When he said about keep an eye on the family, I respect that. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to dig or anything like that. But like I said, I just went ahead and gave him some, I don't know if he was on the fence because he couldn't make it work. And I'd love to see him make it work. So, yeah. I said, well, just let him know. I said, I'll do what I can. Just, if he starts posting videos, I'll tell people right out, listen, or he can just say, at this moment I can't, reply to comments. And I don't think anybody would care. He did a lot of good work. So, I'm hoping for a speedy recovery for him. Taking off, Sean. All right. Maybe we'll be talking soon. Next week, I'm going to have my buddy Billy Carson on there. So, but we'll do it some other time real soon. And maybe we'll look at some more of your other work you've been doing lately, too, because I know you have a really good one coming out this weekend. So I'll definitely be looking out for that. Anyway, you have yourself a good weekend there, right? I'm not sure what that... Let me see. Jason O, you said, have you heard coming from 20 and back? I'm not sure what that means. Talking about little people getting smashed in the wheel of the rover. Now, I did see people making videos of that where it looks like they might have run over some small little inhabitant. I hate to call them like Martians because it makes it... Now, I've watched it. It kind of looks that way. But even if they were not, let's say it was not even a, Martian, whatever. What I find interesting, they have rolled over things that look intelligently made. I've done that. I've done videos where clearly they've ran right over these. You can see the wheel marks right over these objects. Excuse me. Drink is killing me. So that's not a lie. That's absolutely true. They're literally running over these things. And you can see one of the videos I've done, the pieces were very small. They fit right in the palm of your hand. And they literally rolled over a whole area of these things. But people go, oh, my God, I can't believe they did that. They should have been looking at it more. Well, you can almost bet that they studied this thing hardcore and got real close with the cam and everything else, even if it's the cam, because they can go real close to these objects, and then just ran over it. They don't care after that point. They got all the pictures and stuff that they need, right? Elaine Walls, I hear you. You said, I wish Alien Hunter would come back. I think he will. It's just going to take him a little bit of time. And, like I said, I just hope he just gets better and speedy recovery, regardless if he, starts doing videos again. But he was doing really good stuff, really good work. And, I hated to see him bow out like that, But, again, I didn't know at the time what had happened. So I don't know if he if that was the reason he just said, I got family matters I want to take care of, or if it was, something he disguised that was really going on with him. But, it happens to everybody, so, like I said, hopefully he'll get better. Mars Times, you said we need to contribute to the existing ecosystem on Mars and steer it towards one that can eventually sustain humans. Well, I think they're already there, Mars Times, to be honest with you. I think because there is blue skies, there is a water cycle, at least in Gale Crater. There is temperatures that are up there between 70 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer, months like here on Earth. And they're in the equatorial region, so that is going to be the warmest section or part of the planet. So I believe you and I could actually walk out on this planet. Now, if the air's thin, you might need a little bit of a breathing apparatus, or it's thin, but you can still breathe it. Kind of like in the highest elevations here on Earth, you would actually have to get acclimated at first. You have to sit there and, to get to breathe and then, obviously take it slow until your body gets used to it. But it's nothing that ain't being done here on this planet, right? Renee Cruz, what's going on? When'd you pop in there? Good to see you in there. Goat Heart, yeah, you're right. That's a great comment. You said, who knows what the rovers are inspecting while we are not watching? Well, keep in mind, they actually have lights on the rovers, too. So these, and if they have infrared or whatever they might have, just because they claim like rovers have X amount of, test equipment, whatever it may be, that doesn't mean that they told us everything that's on them machines, right? We don't know. So my thing is this. It could travel at night. It's autonomous, so it knows it can still navigate around. It doesn't have that issue. Now, if it's using headlights at night to look at certain things, and they're like an LED, I think they said. So who knows is right. I mean, we don't know if there's still things going on at nighttime. We have no clue. Tony, you said, so thank you, Chris, for and company for making it easy for us to see amazing work being done on the moon and the evidence of structures on Mars. Well, yeah, I mean, again, there's some people, I guess more people than myself, obviously, and Alien Hunter, which was doing this stuff, and many more other people that are doing these things, and they're just trying to bring out the truth. Now, some people, they make videos and it's completely off the wall, and I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw them. But as far as, like, true to life people, they're not trying to jam it down your throat. They're just saying, listen, this is what I found. What do you think? And that's what it comes down to. Or I think it looks like this. This sure does look like this. Whatever. So, and again, I always tell you guys, listen, you guys get the last say. Because I learn things too. Like I said, we're all on a learning curve here. I'm not an aficionado about Mars. I'm not on Mars, so I can't say, well, yeah, guys, this is actually real. And no, this is what we thought it was, but it's not that now. We don't know. We're just speculating, and we just see something in a photo and you go, this is what it looks like to me. What do you guys think? And that's all it is. Thought-provoking. Check it out yourself. And that's what it comes down. Bottom line, right? Pork Gun, thank you very much for your support. As usual, you said Alien Hunter, get well, show up with that alien strength. Yeah, he was doing fantastic work. Just some of the stuff he would show, like up close and then come back out. And you can see there was one part of the video that I really wanted him to if he knew the actual photo, and he was very good at this, because a lot of times I'd say, hey, do you know the photo test? And he'd give me the link to it. And, of course, I'd give him props for it and give him, make sure he was duly noticed for giving me the link, and that, I'd send people over to his channel because he was doing great work. That's why I back people. I back people when I think they're doing good work. So, I'd love to see him come back and, do his thing. So, fingers are crossed he gets a speedy recovery, takes his time, knocks these things back out of the park, and we'll know pretty soon. So, I appreciate Karen actually telling me this and, keep us in the loop, so to speak. So I thought that was awesome. Well, yeah, Architect, you're right. You said I've done a quick check on the atmospheric pressures, and sea level is 14.5 psi. The top of Mount Everest is 4.5 psi. We are told Mars is at 0.8 psi. Makes you wonder. Yeah, I mean, I don't. There was, like I said, there was a team, and I don't remember what country they're from, but it was a son and a father and son that had done this, and they literally were looking into this. So I don't know if they were like scientists or whatever. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. But I know that they literally called NASA out saying, your pressure readings are bull. You're conveying this crap to these people, to the public. It is not only, and it was only supposed to be X amount of millibars, or like you said, the PSI. So, and so they literally jumped in their crap about it. So I'm just wondering, whatever turned out with that. Now you can still go on the REMS, the weather station that's basically on Curiosity rover, right? And it still shows basically the same pressure, which is BS. I don't think that's the case at all. And, and they claimed that there was carbon ice at the time. There was only carbon ice on the North and South Pole. Well, it's got to be X amount of pressure to be able to put that ice on these caps. So which one is it here? What gives? Josh D said, Alien Hunter is a hero in our field. Yeah, he definitely played a key role. And like I said, I'm hoping that he'll return to that. Equalizer. It's like the pictures that a psychiatrist shows you. I always see very weird things. A lot of people will say that, the people who actually see actual, like, little figures and stuff like that, well, because it's something that's in your mind's programmed and everything else. I don't have a problem with that to a certain degree. Like I said, I don't see many of these little beings anyway. I'm not saying that they don't exist. And I've said this many times before. I see more mechanical, and I see more... maybe because my mind's more hardwired to see that. But to me, it's just like, that's what I see. I see mechanical. I see something. I see like machine parts. I see whatever. Some people don't see that. They see more of like humanoids or whatever. But you're not going to tell me that's all that is kind of, we're just all seeing things. I don't think so. Some people do videos about they just see strictly humans, or humanoids, I should say. I don't see it. Now, is it really there? I don't know. I don't see them. Now, some people go, no, that's all I see. And I don't think you're wrong for it. That's what you're seeing. Just like you might say, well, I don't think you're right about what you're seeing on this photo, Chris. I think you're seeing something totally different. And that's fine with me. But like I said, I think we can all agree that a lot of this stuff is actually anomalous, period, which means it stands out from its surroundings. So what is it? This is the reason why I never cram anything down people's throats. This is the way it is. This is what I see. What do you guys think? Let's analyze it. Thought-provoking. Let's check it out together. That's what it comes out to. Some people, they want to use that word pareidolia, and some people really have it. I mean, yeah. Some people are like way over it. It's like, and that's their business. That's not mine. But if they feel that they're doing the right thing, then it's all that matters. And they're being, trying to be honest about it, then that's cool. That's the way I look at it. I was just reading your comment, Sarah. It's nice of you to do that. You're talking about he and Karen, so that's awesome. Mars Times, you said things it's absolutely ridiculous that the truth about past life on Mars is kept in the dark. So much to learn if there is stuff there. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it, there's stuff there. I mean, I've seen so much proof of it, or at least evidence of it, that there's no questioning it. You know, even since I've been doing anything to do with the moon or anything about Mars, as well as other moons, people, you know, and just a science, just read the papers and stuff like that. There's no doubt in my mind. Like I said, we're part of something much larger. And it's not us. There's something else out there, or some other civilizations out there. And I just have a different, just different outlook, the way I look at everyday life now compared to what I used to. Because knowing that it's not just little old us on this little lonely, blue marble, there's much more to us than this. We are part of, just like I said, a galactic, schoolyard, so to speak, or neighborhood. Call it what you will. We're definitely part of it. Mervyn Gravel. Hi, Chris. Is Subway a Friday night ritual? Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes, to try to do like on a Friday, you just kind of go out and get something there, get one of those BMTs or something like that, and just before I jump on here with you guys, and then, because I'll tell you what, I mean, do all this talking, you're on here for 2, maybe 3 hours or whatever, even longer sometimes, you get a little hungry. So, and I don't mind it. It's decent, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm eating complete trash. Notice I said complete trash. Yeah. Ian Wentworth, you said, my theory on Bob Lazar is that they wipe everyone's memory or place fake memories into all people that worked in Area 51 S4, but for some reason, Bob's real memories returned. See, I don't know. I think they just basically had a gag order. I think that's where it went, and that was the end of it. And they're not supposed to say anything. And because he decided to come out with it, of course, they try to make him disappear, meaning, he didn't have a social anymore. They pretty much got rid of all that. He basically didn't exist. And, I heard about that, but then I watched an actual video of him talking about this. And they said, and there was another guy with him saying, no, we actually dug into it. And here's his paperwork. So he is legit. He did work there, but they wanted to make it look like, oh, no, he's a nobody. And I don't know what this guy's talking about, But because he decided to go public, this is what happened. So, yeah. James Cragen, you said, Chris, man, looking back at some of the past videos and photos, your past videos and photos, etc. Let's be honest here tonight, man. Like you, I think NASA never stopped going up. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think. Again, if you've accomplished so much, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember, because I'm going to probably show my age here now, but back down, I think it was the 80s. Remember they had the Blue Flame? Anybody know what the Blue Flame is? Basically, they took this thing, they're trying to beat the land speed record, and they did it in the, the salt plains of Utah, and they broke the 600 mile an hour, speed limit. So why would you stop? You're trying to, that's what we do. We push the envelope. We try to better ourselves. We try to improve. We try to do everything better. You don't just go, oh, wow, we just did the most awesome thing since man has been alive. We went to the moon. Okay, good enough. Time for a break. Let's not do it again. They're not going to do that. Come on. They're going to make things better. We can get there more efficiently. We can get there more faster. We can get there so and such better. We're going to keep doing this. They're not going to stop doing this. I believe they went to the moon. I believe they have a base there. I think they may even be on Mars as we speak. Who knows? I can't vet that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen or it hasn't happened. I believe that they have, and they're probably there as we speak. Who knows? What do you guys think? John Schaub, you said, need to sleep. I'm working every day, so thanks, Chris, and thanks all. Well, thank you, John. Thanks for being here. Much appreciated. And by the way, keep up the good work with the cars, by the way. And keep that 73 nice and shiny. Nice. Well, Sarah, now you probably know what happened to him, right? Because I just read you're talking to Noodles about very much I like them, and they just stopped. So I did. So, yeah. And I had no idea, to be truthful, either. I didn't know what was going on with him. At first, I thought maybe he was blowing me off, but then I was like, and then when I got that, I was like, because I just said, oh, I'll just let it be. I mean, the guy's got to do his thing, and maybe he just figured maybe he'd have to go back out and work or do whatever, because he wasn't kicking it with the finances through the videos, and I get that. This is the reason why I work a normal job, which sucks, but that's beside the point. But the thing is, it's like, you work, and it's just, if you make anything off these, then that's fine. That's the way I look at it. And it's a hobby I like doing. I didn't know he likes doing it as well. So he was probably hoping it would work out for him, and it kind of, it didn't work out for him that much, or at least not the way he planned. But then now you find this out, and maybe that was a real, I was going to say excuse, but that's not the right word I want to use. Maybe that was a real reason, right? So, like I said, we all hope he gets better, that's for sure. Tony Gibbs, you said, no way we stopped going to the moon. They just figured it was easier not to have to hide everything. I'm sorry. They were finding. Yeah, I mean, they could just say we stopped going. Period. Well, you won't ask any more questions. Common sense, right? Kind of like I still believe the Spirit rover's still going, and I still believe the Opportunity rover's still going. Again, can I vet that? No. Pure speculation, but I've seen this thing, it was the Opportunity. And even the Spirit rover go through some serious heavy soil. And I don't mean like wet, but I mean, it was like almost like a quicksand kind of thing. It was really, really soft sand, right? These things are 6-wheel drive. And seen it, literally the front wheels get buried and they still pulled out of it. Yet, this time, we can't get out of it. But like I showed you on Spirit, something was actually got into that wheel and locked it in place. They couldn't get back out of it. There's a video I got on about that and showing that, where you can actually see something literally come through that wheel, and it got stuck on it. It couldn't get back out of it. That's what I think happened with that. Opportunity rover, I think it's still going. They say, well, yeah, it's bad storm, and it covered up the solar panels. Okay, so what makes us believe that another storm could not blow off that dust, and then it slowly charges its batteries back up, and then it's back to normal again? If that was the case, it could still be done. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, after a while, a battery goes completely dead, and you're not going to charge it, right? But I don't think that's the case. I mean, I don't know why I'd be suspicious of NASA, right? Stephen, is that Grilly? What about a Mars moon, Phobos 1? You think we have more photos or have sent our own instruments there? Well, it's funny you mention that, because I actually have, right here, I don't know if you guys have seen that, the Phobos incident. And I'll give you the link to this so you guys can check it out. But funny enough, they had I think it was an infrared photo of a certain area. And there was another, I don't know if it was another, I forget what they say, but it's another regular photo they have taken. Two different versions of that area. One was radar and one was another. And then when they combined it and overlaid it, this is what they had. I found this pretty interesting. Right? And I actually I threw it into Photoshop, I think, here. And check this out. So I brought down the brightness as much as I could, but this is the original. Right there. Whoops, a little too close. Right there. Brought it down, and you can see there's something even over here. Right in this corner. And you can pretty much still see it, even without it brightened up. But it's a whole lot more. It's a whole lot better this way, where you can actually see that. And, I mean, funny enough, you just happen to see all of this right here, but that's all been scribbled out. And you can see these what look like, now these, well, they almost look like structures to me. Now, is it, can compression artifacts. This was taken from a good distance away. This wasn't up close. So whatever this stuff is, I find it pretty interesting. But yeah, they have this right here, and you guys will get this. And they talk about Phobos 2, where the last photo was taken, and they say it was on Mars. I thought it was on the Phobos moon itself, or Phobos, I think they call it. But depending how you pronounce it, means nothing to me. But it was like an oval, cigar-shaped shadow. They claimed it was on Mars, and we'll go with Mars. That was it literally from the last photo. And then you can see one from the spacecraft where it shows Phobos, and it shows this real, like, again, a cigar-shaped UFO, whatever it was, under the moon. So, and then they never heard a thing about this spacecraft again, which is Phobos 2. They never heard another word about it. Imagine that. So, funny you mentioned that. I had that on a tab right up here. Poor God, you said, been up 19 hours. Time, call it a night. A good night to all you fantastic people, and Chris, you rock. Well, thanks, poor God. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. You have a good weekend there, right? Leslie Warren, you said they had intention of having more Apollo. I guess you meant Apollo missions, Chris. I saw it myself, and they did show it here all over the moon bases, but were they allowed? Yes, I hope Alien Hunter gets better. Love from us in the UK. Yeah. Like I said, I don't believe for a moment they've ever stopped. I mean, I don't know why they would. It simply makes no sense to me. I would literally go, okay, we've got this perfected. Yeah, we've made mistakes along the way with our Apollo missions, but we're going to continue to get better, because this is basically, it's like a trial and error just by simply going to the moon. It's the closest body to our Earth. Let's go back and forth. Let's keep going. Okay, we're doing that. So, hey, how much further can we go? Ooh, how about the fourth planet? Let's go to Mars now. It wouldn't be that much of a problem. I mean, again, it has its limitations. It has its difficulties. It could be deadly, sure. But they've already got it down pat where they know they can get people onto a craft and go to the moon. So they'll have to make some other designs to the craft, but it's not like it can't be done. I strongly believe they have. Elaine Walls, exactly. He said, even if the rover died because of a dead battery and NASA is telling the truth, we still don't believe them. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe when they're literally, messing with these photos to begin with. Again, let's suppose that one of the rovers happens to be in a hot spot, meaning it's got anomalies galore. And I mean, there's technology involved in this, and they say, listen, guys, we can get this, basically the weight off our back by not have to show these people, the public themselves, all of these photos. Why don't we just discontinue that, and this way here we can just go about our work? Kind of like what Japan did, I think it was. Was it Japan or China? No, it was China. Where they said, the first, what was it? Let me see. I'm trying to go through all these spacecrafts and stuff. But anyway, their first time they went to the moon, the Chang'e 3, they were like, oh, it died. It had major problems, whatever. Okay. So, because solar panels are supposed to close. They're supposed to insulate it for the cold at night. And they claimed that it did not. So, therefore, it froze the rover. It would not get it to, they couldn't get it to open the solar panels. And like I said, there was people literally they were ham operators getting pings from this thing on the moon. So, they knew it was fine. So, they knew China was lying. Oh, we did get it to work, by the way. This was not long after that, because they must have got pressure from people going, oh, you're full of it. They finally said, oh, yeah, it's back online, but, yeah, we're not going to show the public any more of these because we're just going to, let it go about its scientific duties on the moon. Imagine that. I believe it's the same thing that's happening. Keep it out of the public's eye and just go ahead and do what we got to do. And Chang'e 4 is no different. You've seen that. I mean, that was the biggest gaffe on the planet, man. I mean, you look and it's like completely blurred out, complete trash. I said, man, these guys learned from NASA or JPL pretty done well, man. Sad. Ian Wentworth, you said the Pentagon admitted they lost $1 trillion the day before 9/11. Convenient. Oh, yeah. Imagine that, huh? Ernest Hines, you said, Ernest Hines Jr., you said, it's in your blood, Chris. Great job. I appreciate it. KBX 1138, Tarkovsky crater on the backside of the moon needs to be viewed closely before NASA starts going crazy with their airbrush again. Well, they've already messed around. In fact, I think I got a video out of that same crater where there's some crazy stuff in here, and Sarah will tell you the same. She's been all over that crater too, I think. So, and a lot of people have actually viewed that. There's some crazy things in that crater alone, man. And yet they claim, there's a couple of people that claimed, oh, we never even flown over it, which they have. There's no doubt in my mind they have. In fact, they showed that they actually were literally going over past that crater. James Cragen, thank you very much again. Much appreciated. He said, all the sightings, millions of stories written in stone, the obvious cover-up, all of the proof in your vids, let alone the spacegram, all lies, no way. Oh, the proof is there. People just have to look for it. And sometimes it's just so obvious that it's just like, boom, right in your face kind of thing. And yet some people go, I don't believe that. I said, why do you not believe it? You don't believe your own eyes? You don't have to listen to anybody else. Just look at the stuff yourself. And if you don't believe your own eyes, you may want to have a doctor look at that. It might be a serious problem. Mark Matheny says, I'm back to watch for a few. LOL. Well, good to see you in there, Mark. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but they're actually going to broadcast this. NASA to broadcast OSIRIS-REx asteroid sample collection activities. And it will take place on this Tuesday. And it says NASA will broadcast coverage of a first for the agency as its origins, spectral interpretation, resource identification, security regolith explorer, or the OSIRIS-REx mission attempts to collect a sample of asteroid Bennu on Tuesday, October 20th. And I'll give you the link to this because it also has the website where you can go to. And it'll be right here. It'll be on this right here. So you guys will be able to see that as well. Live coverage of the spacecraft descent to the asteroid's surface for its touch and go, or TAG maneuver, which will be managed by Lockheed Martin Space near Denver, will begin at 5 p.m. on NASA television and the agency's website. All right, so yeah, it's going to beginning with an departure maneuver around 1:50 p.m. The full sequence of the complicated engineering feat will be covered at Osiris. Or OSIRIS-REx rather, and Meter, and the public can ask questions using the hashtag to Bennu and back. Really now? So, yeah, you guys will get the links to these two. I think it's amazing, if they're actually going to do this. Some of these rocks they're finding what looks like organic, kind of, I'm going to use the term footprint, if you will. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Bepi Colombo, I guess that's how they pronounce it, swings by Venus. And of course, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they're actually checking this thing out, flying by. October 16, 2020, yesterday, October 15th, the European Japanese probe, Bepi Colombo, I think it's called, like I said, swung by Venus, one of its 9 gravity assist maneuvers on its long winding journey to Mercury. So it's blown right by it, Venus. At Venus, the spacecraft snapped a number of photos with the cameras aboard its Mercury transfer module. The probe is set to eventually arrive in Mercury's orbit around 2025. So, yeah. Sweet. Thomas Pesquet trains for space. And it's talking about all the other missions that they've had. All kinds of cool stuff. This is pretty cool. Lost in Space, the Mars probe camera. October 12, 2020, a tiny camera tumbles out into space after being ejected by the Chinese Taiwan. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. Mars probe 15 million miles from Earth. The image, released October 1st, was captured as the spacecraft heads to Mars. The camera was able to snap photos of course, the spacecraft, which carries the Mars orbiter, lander, and rover that are due to arrive on the red planet in February 2021. Imagine that. Our new rover's going there in February. They're going there in February. Imagine that. But, man, I'm glad they're getting to look at this dusty, crappy planet even more up close. For what reason, guys? For what reason? $129 watching, 121. A thumbs up. Everybody hit that thumbs up. Much appreciated. Daniel Webster, he said, yeah, unless they find another reason, then Venus has life in its clouds. Yeah. Yep, Perseverance going to be there. 2021. We got the Chinese spacecraft going. Come on. Sunset capture from space. Of course, they're getting the James Webb. I don't know how many times they keep saying this James Webb telescope is going to be put out there and then it's delayed like years. Of course, I'd rather see it delayed and then, thrown together correctly and, all the bugs worked out so that it works, the way it should once it's out in space, right? And SpaceX's 13 Starlink batches going up. Already up, actually. October 6th it went up. Elaine Walsh, you said, Chris, I read yesterday that an amino acid had been detected. What the heck? Dumb thing just jumped on me. In Venus. Phosphines and amino acids now? What is your opinion? I mean, you start seeing these things. It's like microbial life literally on a planet that you would think there's no way it could live there. And what's going on here? It's like the more they learn about a planet, the more they're saying, okay, there's some kind of life there. It doesn't have to be human life or humanoid life or alien life. There's some kind of life there. And you would think if there's some kind of life, is there more to it than that? Because doesn't every form of life have to feed off another life? I don't know. Yeah, I read about that, Renee. You said Chinese artificial sun. Do you see what they were trying to do? They were going to put this ball out in there. They're going to it's going to be basically a giant flashlight or a giant light out in space. I'm not sure exactly why. I read that a while back. Not sure what that really meant. Why they were doing that, I forget what it was. James Cragen said, Chris, what about NASA admitting that they lost 698 tapes and data from the Apollo 11 mission? And they have no problem saying that there's nothing they can do about it. A lot of missing history, man. Yeah, I mean, is it? I don't think they lost anything. They didn't lose a thing. Come on. This is stuff that's all being archived. It's not going to be lost. Now, they did say, well, we lost the technology to go back to the moon. No, they didn't. It's old, outdated technology. That's what they mean by we don't. What's the point? It's like saying, all right, we got the brand new cars out today, right? Very efficient. Some countries are making hydrogen cars. We got fully electric. We got hybrids. We got this, that, and the other. Just regular combustion engines. Technology is awesome. You're not going to say, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we go back to building the same engine we had in the Model Ford, Model A, or whatnot? Why don't we go back to those engines? What would be the point? Let's lose the blueprints. We're far beyond that. So you wouldn't go back to an old technology. You'd go forward. So when they say they lost the technology, no, they didn't. Come on now. They didn't lose anything. You don't just lose that. And that's what I think a lot of people are tripped up by. Do you actually believe they actually lost all that film and the data and everything else? No. Of course not. Mark Matheny, your question was, hey, how is it that Earth has a second moon? What's that about? What is it? Well, basically, that's what it is. It's on a more of a lot further orbit around the moon. I'm sorry, about our Earth. And it's a lot smaller than the moon we have, meaning the one we have that we see all the time. It's just another smaller moon. It's just another body that's actually orbiting our Earth. And they found this a while back. And that's basically all it is, just basically a rock. And they're just calling it another moon. I'd love to see the picture of it, but that's what they're saying. Yeah, is that what they were talking about? Renee, you said China has a new artificial lighting source in the atmosphere in interstellar outer space to light up their city streets. It had to be really bright. My God. And Big Al 311 says the same thing, street lighting kind of thing, I guess you were saying. I don't know what the heck the point is in that. I mean, doesn't the moon already do that? Pretty much, I mean, unless they need it 24/7, meaning only at nighttime, but I mean, they need it every single day. Mars Times, that's a pretty good, funny question, though. Wonder if there's tow bars and roof racks on these shuttles going to Mars. Well, I mean, if you've ever seen one of these things up close, which I've seen at the Kennedy Space Center, they're not as big as I thought they would be, but they're not small either. I mean, the cargo bay is pretty big. And this is the reason why they would take different parts when they were building the ISS. They put them in the cargo bay, cargo hold, and they'd bring it up. And, of course, they assembled it. But it's pretty large inside. I mean, it's good size. And like I said, the first time I seen one of them things, I was like, wow, that's neat. I see you Noodles and Sarah going back and forth about Adam and Eve. Don't you mean Adamu? Ancient civilizations. Adamo, meaning first man. Daniel Webster, you said, astronomers say the Goldilocks zone from the sun is from Venus to just past Mars. Doesn't mean all the planets have life, but it appears to be the case. Yeah, I mean, life doesn't have to be like us, right? It could be just something that's totally adapted to that planet. You can have, on the weirdest, gaseous planets, you can still have life. It just adapted to that life. We are what we are today because we have adapted to what this planet, basically has to it. There's certain oxygen levels, there's certain this, there's certain that. We are here because of that. We've adapted to the makeup of this planet. That doesn't mean it's going to be the same every other planet. Like I said, people get all pissed off and everything else. Oh, there's no way in hell we could live on, something could live on those planets. Why? I mean, what? Oh, man. I don't know about you, but I can't breathe in water and live. We have animals that have adapted to water. They live in water. We breathe in air. There's some reptiles or some fish that actually can breathe air. They can walk on land and go back in the water and back and forth. They literally walk with their fins. I mean, so don't think for a minute life can't survive or live anywhere. Not sure I understand the question, Richard. You said, if you lived on Mars, what would you want to live like? It depends on what the planet's got to offer. Obviously, you'd want to eat and have shelter. After that, I don't know. If you're doing scientific work up there, I wouldn't have any problem. Can you imagine having a job like that? Let's say you got enough food, you got a shelter, and you got everything else, and you're living on that planet. And your job is to basically go out and either get some of this technology from this other civilization, or just bring this stuff back to, the base, so to speak, and, they observe it, check it out, put it under a microscope, so on and so forth, or whatever. That would be like, oh my God. Yeah, I'd be so there. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of that too, Noodles. You're saying Adam and Eve stories about the world flipping on its axis, which is done more than once. But as far as the actual biblical story, the Adam and Eve, when they're talking about that, and I guess they're talking about this as well, it's kind of intertwined. I've heard stories about that. But the ancient civilizations talk about Adamu, which is where the Bible got it from. It's just weird. It's like offshoots of this story, you know what I'm saying? So I find it really interesting that things along the way have been misconstrued or taken out of context. So it's, yeah. Pete Ferrero watched Carson's Contact in the Desert, where he showed orbit of Planet X in relation to Earth. Yeah, I mean, you notice how NASA now, and this of course has been some years now, they said, we believe there is another planet, and the reason why we know this is because it's pulling on the outer planets. But there's a very large planet out there. We're willing to call it the 10th planet. So were the Sumerians right all this time? Yeah. They're not willing to admit that part. They're just saying, well, we found it ourselves. No, they said that, if what I heard, they were actually looking for this because of these writings. They're saying, we hardly doubt that, but we're going to check anyway. And now all of a sudden they found this 10th planet. But that's not the only planet. And like I said before in these other hangouts, that they actually have, some of the scientists are saying there's many more planets in our solar system. We found out there's more orbiting our star. So there is actually a larger solar system that we've been told. Now, these are out a little further. In other words, there's a space and there's more planets out there. But keep in mind, we were also a binary star. We were a binary star system, or solar system at one point. So even the other planets that were further out, they had another sun. So therefore, they probably had life on them as well. Think about that. Now, if it's completely burned out, which they claim it is, then there was probably life on those planets as well, because it would have been heated just like here on Earth, right? You jump down to the bottom here. Jack Lambert, he said, job on Mars? I leave now. Tony Gibbs, he said, I'll go when Elon goes. It'll be first class. Well, I mean, for a guy that says, listen, I want to die on Mars, think about that a minute. What? So he knows he's probably not going to literally die when he gets there. Now, he's also probably thinking, too, that everything will be set, meaning structures will be built, so it'll be safe to go there and everything else. Or he knows that you can actually sustain life on Mars. Maybe not every part of it, but at least a lot of the areas that are the Martian magnetic fields. It's very, it's just like different parts of the planet. It's not all over the planet like we have here on Earth. So as long as you're in those areas, you're being protected from the solar radiation. So you got that. You got yourself pretty much, I don't know if I want to use the term weak Earth. Like, in other words, we still have everything we have here on Earth. Like I said, sun, water cycle. And you can almost guarantee there's actually organics there. Almost guarantee it. In fact, a lot of you guys have said the same thing. You said, is it me, or does it look like I can see like little bushes or trees like that on these grounds, and they're like being covered up, like they're doing what they can to manipulate these. So that wouldn't surprise me either. when they had the Indian space probe, or the orbiter MOM from India, when I enhanced that, just do by an auto enhance, it showed the same colors you see here on Earth. Now, it did show a lot more browns because Mars doesn't have the water that Earth does. But it still had blues, it still had greens, it still had browns. Come on. James, you said, Chris, the odds of the moon being perfectly shaped in the distance from Earth and the sun is perfect. Also, in regards to the eclipse, it is 1:1, and it's closer to Earth than all the other moons. Absolutely. It's the only moon in our solar system that's larger than its, what was it? It's supposed to be like quarter the size of its parent body. So, and every other planet has either, X amount of moons, like, I forget what it is now. Is it Saturn that's got 64 moons they counted so far? And a ton of moons, or they're just bodies and they're just calling them moons. But regardless, they're all real small in relation to their, their parent planet. So, yeah, ours is the only one that's like that. And it's tight to lock the boot. Go at heart. You said, in case of a war, a job on Mars wouldn't be the worst idea. You got that right. Nathan Bond, you asked Chris, hey Chris, if NASA came to you and said, if we show you the real untouched images of Mars and the moon, and in return you had to stop running this channel, what would you do? That is a real I even touched on this before. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know if I can contain myself and not want to show, because I think it's really important. Now, if they said, I'll tell you what, it'd still be a tough decision if they said, well, this is what we'd like you to do. We'd like to come to work with us, and basically going to be the proof viewer instead of proof reader, where CGI department goes all over these. We want you to go over these and make sure that there's nothing being shown. So in other words, you go in there, okay, circle, circle, circle. We can see all these. Okay, pass it on. Okay, take those out. And in return, we'll show you every photo that we've ever had. And, oh my God, that's a tough one, guys. What would you do? What would you guys do in that? I mean, yeah. Nathan, what would you do? Would you do that? Would you do the same? Would you just, as long as you had every access to every photo that's ever been put out, what would you do? Interesting, Josh D. That's a good one. He said the moon is artificial. I think, LOL. The second moon is a normal moon for an Earth planet like ours. Yeah, then it's probably the right size it's supposed to be, and yet we got this other one. Who knows? Maybe they kicked the other one out in far orbit and kept this one here when they brought it to Earth. Remember the old? It's supposed to be like ancient kind of writings where they said there was a time without the moon, and then somehow it was dragged here into our orbit. And that way, it kind of sounds like a silly kind of way to say it. It's like, well, just kick the real one out, put that out in far orbit, and we'll put this one in its place. As silly as that sounds, I don't know. I don't think the moon is completely natural. I think there's more to that moon, a lot more to that moon. Stephen Porter, you said, hopefully, Chris, if they do have a Mars base, they will have a space station orbiting Mars as a backup if anything goes wrong, which could be used as a staging post for deep space. Well, they want to already use the moon to do that. But yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have other small craft, kind of like a ISS kind of thing around Mars, where they can dock into this and refuel and take off from there and so on and so forth. And I know that they want to make fuel both on the moon as well as Mars, so that they can just refuel and take off from there instead of worrying about the spacecraft having enough fuel to go to Mars and back. So they want to, either way that you do it, they want to have the moon as a jump-off point, just like they want to have Mars the same way. Because if you think about it, you can do the same thing they want to do at the moon. Make fuel on Mars, refuel before taking off, come back to Earth. Or use it at that one, because it's further out, as a jump-off point to go to the next planets and so on and so forth, right? So, and they can just shuttle back and forth or whatever. They take the fuel from Mars, refuel up the station, and then any little spacecraft that goes there can refuel and then go further or go back to Earth, whatever it is that they need to do. So, yeah. Frank Miklos, you said I would have to take the job, then later leak the photos. I know I was thinking this very same thing. I was thinking, yeah, I'll just tell them, yeah, I'll do it on the sneak. I mean, what I'll do, just come out like a totally different alias on like YouTube and say, guys, this was leaked. And of course, they know who leaked it, and of course, they probably have to murder you. But if they didn't find out about it, and you can get them out, you could probably do that. Because it'd be hard to contain that. Can you imagine walking in and they get this huge screen and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and show you this. Remember this sol here of this butte? Well, this is what it really looks like. And you see like these weird structures, and you'd probably, like I said, I don't know. I don't know how I would react to it. Seeing something that's never been touched and manipulated and censored, and all of a sudden you see this, it'd be mind-blowing, to say the least. I can tell you that. I can tell you, haters did that. How do we get 2 thumbs down? Maybe somebody who's listening didn't like the information. It's like, listen, it is what it is. Tony Gibbs, you said there is still no logical reason for that large of a moon to be in lockstep with the Earth. We could now not have captured it. Well, that's what they're saying. They said somehow it was brought here. I don't know how true that is, so I wasn't around to see that. But somehow they say it was placed in our orbit. But no one, like I said, if you could just visualize, if you see a photo of the moon, and I mean up close up, and I'm talking about a really good quality photo, it's almost like you could take all of the texture off and you'd have a smooth sphere after that. Think about that. Because a lot of times you see these like extremely wide craters, and they're smooth at the bottom. And then you look outside the crater, there's another smooth area, and it's the same. The crater's not any more deeper than the outside of the crater. How is this possible? Now, they do claim that, it could have been when the moon was active, volcanically active, that it was like a huge bubble that came up like a lava bubble and popped, and that was the end of it. Well, a mile wide? Come on. I can see little ones, 30 feet, 100 feet. I get that. That makes sense. But, man, that thing was that active to be able to do that and make a huge bubble like that? I don't know. But it's almost like I said, look outside some of these craters. I'm talking about good quality. It doesn't have to be the whole moon. It could be like the top half of the moon. Get a good quality of it. And look, inside the craters, it's nice and smooth. And if you look at the bottom of some of these craters, they're the same height, basically, or the same level, I should say. And you just have a wall around this flat area. It's like they put it there to make it look like it's a crater. Why isn't it any deeper or higher or lower, whatever? It's the same exact level as the outside of that crater. It makes no sense. James, thank you again for your support. He said, Chris, I know I speak for everyone tonight when I say that we love every hangout and look forward to this time every week. Chris, top of the range, man. Oh, I mean, I do the same. You know what I mean? Like I said, I enjoy being here. This is awesome. And get to, go back and forth and talk about the latest news and different things and other suggested things to watch and so on, because I'm always down for decent, video or movie out there that might show some more truth and everything else. I still have to watch The Phenomenon. I haven't watched that yet. I'm definitely going to check that out. Some people say it gives it nothing but thumbs down and say it sucked. And then some people say it's very well put together. So I guess it depends on how much you believe in the stuff. Think about it. Because if you believe in it and you're like open-minded, I guess you can go either or. But, to just totally dismiss it doesn't make any sense. I would never dismiss anything that it can be backed up with some kind of fact, right? Now, let me see. Whoops. Jack Lambert, you said they brainwash you into thinking the secret is for national security and the people can't handle the truth. They may be right about most of the population. That's true. I believe that too. I don't know. I just find it strange how, they just want to make it, again, they just keep telling you this one thing. Oh, yeah. Like you said, the brainwashing and, thinking the people, it's for security, national security. If you came out and simply said, oh, by the way, again, something small, microbial life found or fossilized microbial life, okay. What kind of conclusion can people jump to other than, well, of course, we'd go probably off the wall and say, that's it, we have life, which you can't help but to believe that. There's life on Mars. You go, okay, even if it was microbial and even if it was fossilized, who cares? You're going to say there was life on that planet. Absolutely, there was life on that planet. And I think they just don't want to open that, can of worms. At least that's the way I believe. What do you guys think? Dan, you said, give me a job, I'll go there. Well, yeah, most definitely. Oh, yeah, Dave, you're right about that. You said... Dave Porter says, Chris, I know it's old news, but thanks so much for mentioning eyepieces or magnifying glasses so much. Difference is amazing. Well, I learned that, and I had one of these. I still got it right here. I always use it. Regular. Well, it's a little dusty now, but it's got the smaller little piece in here, which is another magnifier, and then you get the very large one. And I just happened to look at it one day. I said, well, when I zoom into a photo, really breaks apart. But what if I was just to go back with the photo, meaning not zoom in as much, zoom back out, and then use the magnifier? It made a world of difference. It didn't break the photo apart. Now, don't get me wrong, you can really pull it out to the point where you see the actual screen, so you don't want to do that, but you just want to be able to bring it out a little bit, and there you go, right? And it definitely helps. Definitely made a world of difference. This is the reason why when I was onto that, I said, guys, you got to do this. Got to get your magnifiers out. Matt Patterson, you said it could have been like the super volcano like in Yellowstone. That's true. You're absolutely right. And I know I think you're referring to the, like I said, the craters on the moon. But how many? There's very large craters on the moon, and they're all over it. And then, of course, you got right down to the small ones that you can, there's like little depressions instead of craters, right? But still, no matter how you look at it, you would think it'd be a little higher or a little lower than the surface that's surrounding that crater. And yet you don't see that a lot. You see it very rarely, if any. It's almost like like I said, they took a completely smooth sphere. Somebody sat there on his test bench and said, okay, I'm going to put all this texture all over it. I'm going to put this round, it's going to put a bunch of it around like this and make it look like a crater. And it's like they built it to make it look natural. When I say they, another species, alien species, to make it look like it's natural. And of course, some people say, well, they speculate, is it possible that it was like some sort of observation, like a base station, they were observing, humans on this planet? Or was it built from another, because they say if it was brought here, again, how long ago? All right, so we know the age of the moon, but again, they claim 65 million years ago, this solar system was totally in another place in our universe. So did it get dragged in from somewhere else, and it or just decided to park itself, we'll use the term, right here next to Earth, and maybe it was like they were on this moon, they got off onto Earth. All speculation, of course, but you don't know this. We have no idea. We're just learning about our history, and I don't even think we even touched the surface. Jack Lambert, you said, I'd go to Mars to work before I'd go to, say, Detroit? Yeah, good choice. James Cragen, you said, Chris, they all look like the same depth. Now, I'm sure there are different depths, don't get me wrong. But when you see the very large ones, again, if there was some kind of eruption in the center and that's what caused it, cool. But if you look at just about every crater, everything looks like it hit straight on. Nothing looks like it's dragged and it went off to a long distance. you always see it looks like it's been, whatever hit them, supposedly, rocks over millions of years and billions of years, it looked like it came straight onto the surface and never came in like at an angle. Now, I did see a video a while back where it looked like something came in from the left, boing, 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 it bounced off the moon and right off the other side. It didn't dig into it. It literally bounced off. It's kind of like skimming a rock, right, on the water. And it makes sense because it's just the angle that it came in on. But what I find interesting is that you think it would crash, and just skid it along it and then stay there. Nope. Bounce, and right off the other side. That was insane to see that. I thought that was cool. Thank you, Mr. Bobby Pentland, for your support. Greatly appreciated. Thank you much. Hiya. I've seen you get on there. I was just like, this thing, it's like I said, I could keep it where it is right now, where I see your post, and then somebody will post and this thing will jump on me, and I was like, I didn't ask it to go down there. So that's why I got to go back every now and then, and you guys will say, oh, he's still way back up there. No, I'm actually way down here, but it'll jump on me, so I want to make sure I don't miss any comments or questions if I can help it, right? Sarah, you said Phenomenon. I gave 8 out of 10, but I am a fan of James Fox, so my bias is showing. Well, that's true. I mean, I haven't seen it, but it looks just even by the actual, just looking at the way they put it together. Like you can watch different YouTube videos of this, and when you watch parts of it, the way it's been put together looks really well. It looks really good. So. It's just kind of like the document. Hold on. What is going on here? Let me see. Just try to move this thing here. The documentary that Billy Carson's doing there, and like I said, he was up here on the weekend. They're going to have like, let me see, who said you want to have in there? One is, I think it's going to be a physicist. They're going to have Ken Johnson Sr. on there, several other people. And some people that are legit, like awesome people, like, in other words, like physicists and stuff like that. So after I showed him the enhanced photos of The Dark Knight that I have done, and clearly this thing does not look like this weird old blanket kind of thing going on, right? So, yeah, I mean, I love anything that's been put together well, and as long as there's some truth behind it, I'm down with it. I mean, I know you guys are too. So, yeah. Oh, this thing just jumped on me again. Hold on. Let me go back. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that out, Sarah. No doubt. Anybody got a free version of that? It's really not that expensive. I think it was like $15 or whatever it is. Somewhere on there. I've seen some of those, Tony. You said, great Friday Hangout. Check out a couple of Joe Rogan's last pods. Good stuff on past civilization, Bob Lazar, Space Force, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I mean, I seen the one with Bob on there. And, yeah, he has some really good stuff. Remember, he used to be really, really kind of doubtful on a lot of these topics he's now covering. So, like going to the moon and so on and so forth. But he's starting to realize that a lot of this stuff is not BS. In other words, like Bob Lazar and a lot of the stuff that's going on, Space Force, which is just another word for, crap that happened in the 80s, the Star Wars project and stuff like that. It's just a, what's the word I want to use? A relabeling of that. That's all it is. Jerry Lahane, you said people like us on Mars now and always were. Well, yeah, I mean, people claim that it was back in maybe 60s, even 70s, that we were already on Mars. Some people doubt that. I don't know. I don't know if I doubt that because, like I said again, if we can go to the moon and you can get it down and get it perfected, they just go, okay, what do we need to do to get to Mars? Well, obviously there's more time, like I said. There's more food we need. We need to have, enough atmospherics for the astronauts, meaning oxygen, so on and so forth. We need to get them there. we need to make sure that they're not going to be like, they're going to be able to function once they get there, because you get muscular atrophy and stuff like that. We don't want that to happen. So it's nothing that can't be done. Retrofit a spacecraft with bigger tanks or whatever, a different fuel, whatever it is you need to do. And all you do is get out there, trajectory, shut off the engines, get there, get down, land, boom, you're ready to go. Take back off. I don't know how much, it can be complicated, don't get me wrong. It's a lot different than going to the moon, but is it really? If you can get down the space flight part of it, the rest of it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I mean, these people are the smartest people on the planet. They're not, dumbbells. They shouldn't, should be able to make it happen, and I believe they have. I don't know if you guys have seen this either. Did you guys see this? This is funny. The guy in a jetpack was spotted again by airliners descending into LAX, or LAX. We have the audio. Now, they're claiming that this guy, now this is the war zone, you guys, if you're not familiar with it, but there it is, where they've talked about how a lot of these airline pilots are seeing things in the sky, like UFOs or whatever. Now, what I found was interesting, this guy, this guy in his jetpack was 6,000 plus feet in the air. Really? Now, they do say, well, it depends on the jetpack itself. Now, because they got one out there, it's actually dual fans. They call it a jetpack, but it's really not a jet engine per se. But I found it interesting how they talk about this. Around a month and a half ago, the war zone reported an unusual incident in the skies near Los Angeles International Airport, or LAX, in which the pilots of multiple airliners reported seeing a guy in a jetpack while on approach to land. A few weeks ago, we followed up on the story in the ongoing investigation into these sightings. Based on new information we had obtained from the FAA, now we have audio between pilots and air traffic controllers regarding an all-new sighting of what was at least loosely described as a jetpack-wearing individual in the same general area. So I find this really interesting and kind of funny at the same time, because I'm going, why would he be 6,000 feet in the air? I mean, you only have X amount of fuel, and I know you can't fly forever in these things. Does somebody got that much, they got the bees to do that? To literally fly 6,000 feet in the air. First of all, you got to get to that height, and then you got to come back down. How long can these jetpacks fly? So, yeah. A China Airlines crew reported seeing what appeared to be someone in a jetpack at an approximate altitude of 6,000 feet, about 7 miles northwest of Los Angeles International Airport. The FAA said in a statement to CNBC. The FAA alerted local law enforcement and will look into the report. Come on. What do you guys think about that? I agree, Noodles. You said jetpacks are bad in controlled airspace. Now, do you believe that, though, if somebody's 6,000 feet in one of these things? Again, I know they don't have much space or flight time but due to, X amount of fuel on them. So you got to get to 6,000 feet, first of all. Now, it can climb pretty fast. And, of course, it's got to hover there. And then one of them was claimed that they actually was following one of these airliners. And so I find that very, very strange that somebody would take the chance of flying, first of all, get in the way of an aircraft. That's first and foremost. And then secondly, take the chance of crashing the damn thing. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Colleen Barnes, thank you very much for your support. Much appreciated. Glad to see you in here. Let me see. And, of course, it does have the audio to this. And, of course, they got right here what they were talking about. And here it is, the audio. And I'm not going to play that because it'll probably be some kind of copyright. But you guys will be able to, you can actually see what they're actually saying right here in text form. It says, was it a UAV or was it a jetpack? Like a jetpack. Too shiny, it's too far. So they really didn't know what the hell this thing was. They made the assumption it was some kind of jetpack. I can understand 100 feet off the ground. I can understand 200 feet off the ground. 6,000 feet. Again, you have to get there, hover in the air, then take the chance of not crashing this thing running out of fuel. I think it's like totally mental to be doing something like that. Michael Roboshad, you said, hey, man, love your work. Thank you very much, by the way. I have become convinced that there is a huge machine on Mars, or a hybrid-type thing with blades and gears of decreasing size, making a grinder-type structure. Thoughts? I don't know exactly what these things are. There's no way of knowing, right? We can't vet it. But judging by what we've seen in here, it seems like whatever these things are, they're mechanical, and they've been blown to pieces. This is the reason why you see it kind of scattered all over the ground at a lot of the base of these things. Now, like in my last video, it looked like a simple butte, and I would agree. Now, when you enhance this thing or see the other things that are hidden in there, there are objects in there that clearly look like they're mechanical or intelligently made at very least. We don't know what they are, but again, very least, they look mechanical. So is it something that's been blown apart, and we're seeing pieces laying all over the place? And then sometimes we see it looks like structures, regular structures, with stuff blown all over the place, whether it be blocks, whatever it may be. It makes no sense. But I think what we're seeing is definitely not natural, and I think everybody can agree on that. But we're seeing structures, we're seeing mechanical parts, we're seeing almost like, picture something getting blown to hell, right? Now, I'm sure other countries, even on here on Earth, do this, where let's say they had a war with another country, okay? Now, you got buildings obliterated to nothing. What they do is they just take, like, giant bulldozers or earth movers or whatever, and they just push it all into one pile, kind of like a snowbank, right? Just take everything, just throw it into a pile. Is that possible? That's what's happened there, where at some point they got, a huge catastrophe, a war, whatever it was. And then, of course, they need to still get through these areas, so they had to pile everything into one pile. Is that possible? I think it is. And I find it interesting that these things are like that. We're just seeing what looks like piles of trash, or whatever it is that they're covering is still there, and it's just been pieces blown off of it, Bobby Pentley said, intelligently made objects. I totally agree. Tony, you said alien disguised as a human to pass unnoticed. It could have been a standard jetpack. It's only a few minutes max. Used to be seconds. Maybe powered wingsuits, but they launched from planes. Exactly, and that's incredibly high for some. I'm not saying it can't do it. Clearly, it can. But how long can you be up there? That's the whole key. First of all, you get up there, 6,000 feet, stay up there, then take the chance of coming back and not crash landing and killing yourself. Yeah, and Frank, I totally agree with you. You said, Miklos, you said 6,000 is well within breathing zone, so very possible. This is a daredevil, so yes, mental. Well, again, is the jetpack able to do it? Because you can still, you can wear a breathing apparatus even if it was thinner air, right? So I don't think that would be an issue. I'm just thinking jetpack. I don't know. I'm not a professional in these things. I'm not, some kind of wizard when it comes to those things. I'm just asking the question, how long can these things fly? Depending on the tank size, I would imagine. And I can't imagine it's that long. It's within minutes. And especially if you're going to hover and kind of mess around with the plane in that certain area, I don't know. Maybe it's just somebody just, looking for that 5 seconds of fame, 5 minutes of fame. Who knows, right? Could very well be just a person. That's a great question, Pete. You said, don't they have equipment to pick up a heat signature of jets? Absolutely. Now, they said there was, if you look at right here, it says Emirates 215 Heavy there was a jetpack reported about 13 miles ahead. Now, they're talking about, of course, that's the actual airliner. And then they're saying, where is it? They called in another spacecraft that happened to be in the area. Now, I'm trying to remember what the heck they called it. They called it 30, Idaho 30. The LAX air traffic controller subsequently reached out to another aircraft using a call sign Idaho 30 to see if they could investigate while also rerouting traffic around the area where the object was spotted. Idaho is a call sign commonly associated with the law enforcement aircraft and helicopters, but what we don't know is what type it was in the case or what the agency it belonged to. These exchanges went as follows, and of course it's talking about they're asking if they could go check it out. Said affirmative. It was reported by a heavy Boeing 777, about 7 miles southwest of you, the location. Affirmative. And, of course, they went and checked it out. Could not find this thing. So, did the guy hurt and land at 6,000 feet? I'm sure they could see this guy descending. If it was a person, I don't know. Or he just did it so quickly that, they didn't see him. And, of course, he could have easily hid into a structure, meaning a building at that point. Who knows? But this also goes on to, you can see, I'm trying to remember if it was, let me see if I can do this here. What are the pages? Let's go back to, there's also more of this. It says, listen to multiple airport pilots report very high speed, unidentified objects over Ireland. And it says updated. So you guys will get this page too, and you guys check this out. What do you guys think? Is it our technology or is it alien? Or do you believe it's both? What do you think's going on, guys? If you guys haven't hit that subscribe button and you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit it and hit that notification bell on the right-hand side of it so you guys will be, basically abreast of all the new videos coming out. And if you haven't given it a thumbs up, go ahead and slam it now. Much appreciated. So this way here, YouTube will share it. We want to see that. And if you guys notice, I've got this little subscribe button here on the right-hand lower corner. Make it a little easier for people to go ahead and hit it. I find this interesting. I think maybe back in the day it was more alien, but now that we're actually being more technologically advanced, I think some of this stuff is actually ours. Reverse engineered, so on and so forth. Again, your thoughts. That's a good one. Yeah, Mars Times, you're right. It said if SpaceX filled the cargo compartment with trash and rubbish from Mars, when they returned, the trip would pay for itself tenfold. That's a fact. Depending on what they found up there, there's like no telling, right? And Jerry Lahane, you said maybe a hybrid, jet and props. That could be, but again, we're talking about how big of a fuel canister are we talking about, or battery pack, or whatever it may be. I mean, because even a battery pack, one of the two props on them, it only lasts so long. So, and to me, talk about a daredevil, 6,000 feet. We're not talking about, again, 600 or 300 feet off the ground. That's way up. And that, to me, that's just crazy taking a chance like that. I do. I remember hearing about that, James. You said, Chris, do you remember the guy with the jetpack flying into the Riddick, Bo, and Evander Holyfield fight years ago? Holy cow, he was a nut. These people do this just for that, like I said, that 5 minutes of fame. Noodles, you said micro-turbo generators, fuel-fed with electric ducted fans. Well, that's what most of these are, right? The ducted fans. But again, we have to keep an eye on the actual fuel source itself, whether it be battery, gas, whatever it may be, right? Again, how long of a flight time do these things have to be able to do that? So was it really? Because you can see the way they worded that. It's far away. It's kind of hard to see. So anybody can say, oh, it looks like a guy flying around. But is it really? Or was it something else? I don't know. Some of these things actually claim that they literally follow these things along. Literally follow the spacecraft. Following reports from a small number of aircraft on Friday, November 9, of unusual air activity, the IAA has filed a report, the country's aviation authorities explain. This report will be investigated under the normal confidential occurrence investigation process. So, I mean, crazy, man. A second pilot flying a Virgin Atlantic Boeing 747 and using the call sign Virgin 76 then joined the radio conversation to say that they, too, had seen more than one bright light or even multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory. He reported that he reported the details about the objects being very bright and moving at extremely high speeds, likening their appearance to be an object re-entering the Earth's atmosphere from space. Glad it wasn't just me, someone chimed in at one point. No, yeah, very interesting, that one. The pilot of Virgin 76 replied and noted that they two very bright objects went from 11 o'clock of their nose before climbing away at high speed. So, yeah. So what's going on, guys? Us or them? Or both? Stephen Porter, you said, how about this for a theory? The Earth has evolved over millions of years and has had intelligent life, which was far superior to us, but the Earth suffered a mass extinction and aliens are from Earth. Or they're just us, period, from way back in the day, right? Colleen Barnes, you said the general public usually is 20 years behind government tech or more. Heard that from somewhere. I think they have learned a lot, but there are alien phenomena as well. Oh, yeah, from what I understand, and this goes back years, the government alone, the military, is like 100 to 300 years ahead of the public, public knowledge, or at least that much more advanced technologically. So you can imagine what they've got. I mean, back in the day, like I said, I remember seeing a small watch. Like you can look at your little watches to go for your iPhones. I remember seeing a TV that big back in the 80s. And basically it hooked into like an amplifier and everything else. And of course you had your headphones. So it was basically the screen part of it. But you could sit there and watch a baseball game, which I don't know how you can see a baseball with that. But beside the point, they had it back then. They got SMCs, surface mount components. Very, very. Once they come up with those, it was like, no holds barred, so to speak. The technology became really, really small, and you could pack everything into something really tiny. And again, a small TV back then in the 80s, that was insane. And of course, you couldn't find something like that. It was like a prototype or something like that. But either way, to see something like that back then, what do you think they got now? I mean, come on. Term via. And he said, been seeing some weird flashes in the sky lately, always at 11 p.m. Spanish local time. Sometimes it is 3 or 4 flashes with a pause between of about 10 seconds. You know what this could be? Honestly, I don't know. With a pause, okay. It could be some kind of beacon. You're saying it's in the sky, right? I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of drone or something somebody's flying around. Maybe the military. I don't know. That's a great question. Michael Robichaud, you said either side to side or up and down and move in almost a sped up fast forward sort of way. Yeah, I mean, they always claim that things are like watching them and stuff like that, and then when they try to approach them, these things just take off at a velocity that you couldn't, it's like boom. None of our jets could even reach. Crazy, right? Noodles, you're saying aviation garage base a breakthrough test. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to, with the technology we have today, is it, are we seeing our own technology? I believe a lot of it probably is reverse engineered, and this is why we're getting stuff now. Or, I should say, that we are that technologically advanced. We can do this now. And this is the reason why, people say, oh, man, we're going to go to war with other countries. I go, I don't know if they'd want to do that. People go, well, why? I said, because just because we see tanks on the ground, we see drones that could blow, buildings to pieces, that doesn't mean that's all the technology we have. I think we have much more than that. So to me, yeah, I mean, we have the technology to blow anything out of the water or out of space or in the air, any of that. So I don't believe that's the case. I don't know if I'd want to mess with a country that's technologically advanced that much, I'm not saying that other countries can't be the same way, but I'm saying, but if you're leading in that, this is the reason why I'm saying they're always pushing the envelope for higher technology, because you want to be better, stronger than any other country on the planet. But at what cost? I mean, you almost kill yourself in the process. Maybe that's what happened to Mars. These guys got, technology ran away, boom, explosions. Who knows? Warred with another alien civilization, warred with themselves. I don't know. Yeah, Bobby, you're right. You said that's code for they'll keep it a secret. Oops. Gold Heart, you said, is it because everyone has a mobile camera or are sightings increasing? Believe they are because half of it is man-made now. I think you're right. It's probably both now, because a lot of people have said that. I've seen these in these documentaries as well. They're saying Is it more UFOs or is it more because more people have got cameras? I think it's both. And like you said, it may be because it's man-made now. Is it possible we're building these crafts so that we can chase other unworldly crafts? Think about that a minute. Is it possible that's the case and that's why they're building these things? And this is the reason why we're seeing these crazy, like the Tic Tac ones, whether it be ours or aliens. Are we building these things to defend against, our own planet? Remember Independence Day? I think it was the second one where these things came back, but we reverse engineered their craft. So we actually had little force fields on ours, and we had every craft that we had force fields, and that we could better defend ourselves against them. Is it possible that's what we're doing now? We've reverse engineered back in the day. We're now building our own craft, and we're making them better all the time so that we can combat anything that may come to this planet. Because clearly our regular F-16s, whatever, 17s, whatever the hell we have, it's just not fast enough to keep up with these. But if we build our own, that's just like their technology, we could do that. And we could protect our own planet. I did too, Bottom, yeah. Little Casio, when I remember being in class. Okay, I'll just go ahead and add that. Then they say, oh, by the way, we need to see that work written out. Oh, crap. But yeah, I had a Casio watch with a calculator too, and they still make this very same model. Funny enough. Colleen Barnes, you said, I recently moved from Vancouver to Sunshine Coast, 10 minutes to ocean. Now I can see the skies, stars, crystal clear, and I have seen some wild things. I have a telescope as well. I'm loving it. Well, I hope it'd be awesome if you either took pictures and posted them somewhere, or I don't know if you do videos or anything of that sort. That would be cool to see. Mimi Reaction said, "I'm taking off. Thank you for a live thank you for a live streaming, Chris. It was a pleasure to talk with you people. Sleep well and stay safe until next week. Good night. And don't forget, like I said, if everything goes well, Billy Carson will be here as well. So that'd be awesome to see. Anyway, thank you, Mimi. We'll be leaving here pretty soon ourselves. You have yourself a great weekend there, right? And stay safe as well." James Cragen, you said, Chris, the vid about the Iranian pilot showed that the craft was at least 3 times the size of a aircraft carrier and was picked up by another aircraft controllers in neighboring countries also. Yeah, I heard about something like that. That is crazy, man. I mean, picture something that large and then can just take off like at a blink of an eye. That's insane technology. Come on. Jack Lambert said TR3B. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Richard Bunt, you said the Red Planet. It'd be a shame at what happened on that planet. Yeah, I mean, for whatever happened on that planet, it's crazy. A lot of people believe that there's still life there, and I think there's always a chance of that as well. Now, depending on how catastrophic that event was, there may nothing be alive, like as far as, humanoid or the inhabitants on the planet, or maybe there is. Because it appears to be in some photos where it almost looks like we can see what looks like insects. We can see almost like plant life, kind of weird thing going on. I don't know. It's pure speculation at this point. But I wouldn't put it out of, I wouldn't deny it completely. That could never happen. I don't know if I'd say could never. Colleen Bonds, I'm getting there, Chris, but the telescope is still a challenge. Eventually, though, I will use the app and try to make pics. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, I've got my own telescope. It's very small. It's only like I think it's a 6 inch. It's not very big, but I could take some decent photos. I got what's the biggest one I've got? The Barlow, I think, is a 3 times Barlow multiplication, magnification, depending how you want to look at it. So it takes, I can see the moon pretty well. Now, to sit there and zoom into an actual crater, really, I thought about getting something much larger, but I just don't have the time to do it at this point. If all I do is these videos, oh yeah, I definitely make it a point to do it. So we can see the real deal, you know. Elaine Wall just said, oh, I hate it when the Hangout time is over. So interesting. So much interesting info is shared. Yeah, and it's not even that. It's just hanging out with you guys is just awesome. It's the time. It's the kind of time you like to kill. You know, instead of sitting there going, oh my God, you know, absolutely doing nothing. So yeah. Noodles, you said treaties with aliens will be a new era for discussion. Exopolitics and our place in the Milky Way. We will be known to all mankind. Yeah, I mean, it's a question of time at some point, right? If we can actually get along with another species, because we can't even get along with ourselves. And I don't think any species is going to want to befriend anybody on this planet, unless, of course, they're just kind of like with the higher-ups and, you know, sharing information back and forth. But as far as saying, oh, Earth, we love you all, come with us and join our galactic neighborhood, they're not going to do that. They're just saying these people are not ready. They can't even get along with themselves. How the hell would we, you know, if they can't get along with themselves, they're going to see us as a threat right off the bat. And we do. Think about it. Every time we see a craft, oh, it's going to kill us. Or it's you know, it's observing us for the most ominous reasons, right? How do we know that's even the case? Not one of these things is trying to destroy anybody or do anything bad. So, I don't know. Matt Patterson says, okay, guys, I'm out. Great hangout. Look forward to the next time later. All right, man, Matt, you have yourself a good one there, right? And Goatheart, you do the same. You said, so time for me to leave. Good night, everybody, and thank you for another awesome chat. Stay safe, everybody. Like I said, guys, just don't forget to write it down there. We're going to have Billy on, so make sure you can join us next weekend. And call it. So, yeah, it'd be awesome to have everybody in there. So, yeah. Bobby Penley said, Billy Carson is so intelligent about what he sees on Mars, it will be good to hear him. Oh, yeah. Like I said, there's times we just sat there and, like I said, when I used to go, well, not used to, I make it sound like it's 10 years ago. When I went down to Florida, like I said, I go to his house in Fort Lauderdale, and then we just hang out and just grab a little bite to eat, and we're just talking about everything under the sun. It's just awesome. You know, like I said, great-minded people. It'd be like if I was spending time with any one of you guys. It's just like just sit there and just talk about this stuff, because it's not something people talk about. And that's what I find interesting. I think it should be talked about a lot more, and it's just not. It really isn't. And I think it needs to be talked about a whole lot more than it really is, because it is part of our lives. You know, people go, who gives a crap whether there's life on Mars? I do. I surely do. Because, again, it just opens up your whole perspective on life and where we are in the universe. And, you know, are we just alone here, or are we part of something much larger? I mean, and you guys know how I feel. As far as the way I view things, absolutely, man. It's like, it has a lot to do with it. Why would you say that? It's like, well, who cares if there's life in it? Why would you not care? But these are the people that are just completely happy about doing their regular things. Just, you know, who knows, maybe not doing much of anything, just bar hopping, or just coming home doing the same humdrum things all the time and not doing a bloody thing. Yeah, I don't think that's cool. But anyway, guys, we are going to wrap this up. Again, thank you, everyone, for your support. I don't care what kind of support it is. Any support's great. You guys are awesome. And just having everybody here is just awesome, too. I mean, like I said, it's like sitting like at this huge table. Everybody going, hey, what do you think about that? And everybody's just going back and forth, having a great conversation. I don't know of any other channel that does this. Is there other Hangouts? Sure. Do they get along like this and actually just sit down and chill and talk like it's like the giant, Knights at the Round Table kind of? No. I don't see it the same way. And it's not to just blow smoke and kissing butt here. It's really the truth. I've been to a lot of these Hangouts, and they're like, hey, what's up, man? They'll talk amongst themselves and everything else, but there's always something that's just not right about it. It just doesn't seem the same. It's like more personal level here, and I just find it awesome. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. Much love to every one of you guys. Thanks for everybody being here. And again, we're going to try to knock out some more of these videos coming up, like I said in my last one. I got a Mars one, another Moon one that are pretty cool. And I'm trying like heck to try to get these things out in the beginning of the week, but that's the busiest part of my week is the beginning of the week. So it's like Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday. And Wednesday's borderline. That's why a lot of times you see them come out on Thursday. And beginning of the week, it's been crazy. It's just getting more and more crazier as the holidays come closer. So you know what I mean. So, yeah. Dry throat. eat fresh, drink fresh. Anyway, guys, everybody have yourself a great weekend. Great hanging out with you. Love to all you guys out there. And we'll see everybody soon. That's all I can say.